Well, from the high banks of Charlotte Roval on Friday to the world-famous Road America on Monday, we come to the virtual Road America tonight for the round 2 of the Snowstorm Open Wheel Racing Series here at Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. After a pretty exciting first round of the series with our first race winner of the season, Logan Paxa, a very familiar winner from the former Carts and Computers Racing Series, well, we come to you for the final race before the winter break, where we take 2 weeks off before round 3 at Texas. That way, everybody at home can get their fair share of holiday spirit and, well, just get some time with their family, which is very important after, well, the very, very tough year we can all admit we've been having. But we've got a hopefully a little bit more polished broadcast tonight. We got all the kinks worked out from the first race, and, well, we've got what I would call an objectively more fun track, definitely more visually appealing to look at, as, well, Road America is one of the most beautiful tracks in the entire world, let alone on the iRacing service. So, well, we're hoping for a great race tonight, and of course I am your commentator, Marshall Crocker Jr., and have, as of yet, been unable to find a better picture. But, you know, maybe one week we always got to have that one thing that you're dying to come back and see if it has improved since the last time. So, well, there's me, and I'm pleased to call tonight. As you know, as we get closer and closer to the holidays, it gets more and more fun to just have something like this to kind of break up your time, and, well, I love doing it, and hopefully the drivers love racing it. But, well, we've got more drivers than Friday. In fact, as I mentioned on that broadcast, well, we may have the driver grid kind of widen out a little bit, and that seems to be the case. I believe we have 13 or 14 drivers in tonight's lineup, so a very healthy dose. We have 2 new faces, those being Trevor Anderson and John Guerra. John Guerra, of course, if you're a former Carts and Computers watcher, you'll be very familiar with him. Trevor Anderson's a new guy to the series, but is one that I think will definitely bring something to the table. I believe he's currently 3rd in practice in time, so, well, I kind of alluded to it the other broadcast, but that kind of midfield, maybe 3rd place, last spot on the podium behind, you know, Andrew Bedrosian and Logan Paxa, who are, I think, going to be really quick all season. But, you know, that third name can kind of swivel through a couple of guys, and whether it be Woody Mahan, Tim Salvatore, David Paxa that we saw were going to be in contention there the other night at Roval. Well, now we got Trevor Anderson to add to that mix, and if he can keep his speed up, I think he's gonna add a lot to the series. But, well, before we get into qualifying in just a moment, which was very exciting the other night, and I hope is just as exciting tonight, now we're going to head and look at the track map here at Road America. Unfortunately, I know the track is very big, and the map isn't as big as it could possibly be, but, well, there's the 14 corner. It's kind of cheating to call it 14 corners. I don't know what this 3A, 11A, 11B thing they're doing here is, but, well, it's considered 14 corners by the official track layout. So there is a picture of tonight's track. Of course, you see a lot of long straightaways, especially one of the longest straightaways in the iRacing service there in the start-finish straight up to corner 1, which is corner 1, actually a decent passing corner. It when you actually see it, we'll do a ride around with likely Andrew Bedrosian during qualifying, so we can get a bit of a lay of the land for what the track looks like. But yeah, it's a very high speed track, but those corners that are technical are ultra technical. Like corner 6 looks really simple on that map, but the elevation change of Road America is really what makes it so difficult, and it's the one element that I'm sure you'll see once we get an actual proper track lap going. But, well, there's the track for tonight, and again, we'll walk you through it in just a moment. But for the time being now, we can well, just kind of watch, maybe we'll do a lap with some driver right now. That way we can kind of get a good idea of what we're looking at before we go green for qualifying. That way we can focus solely on the times being laid down and figuring out where people are going to start tonight. Now we can get the audio turned on for the cars, hear the lovely purr of the engines. Who are we on board with currently? This is Andrew Bedrosian, so remember your former pole sitter from the previous race. Just a great job he did at Roval, and I mean, he wasn't able to come away with the win in that race, which I'm obviously sure he would have liked to, but, well, tonight I think he's looking to step it up a little bit. I think he's actually 7/10 fastest in practice when last I checked a couple minutes ago, so he's bringing in a new sense of pace tonight, and, well, he was your pole sitter before, and got to imagine he's going to be trying to do it again. But here's Andrew Bedrosian just going to run us through the very end of the lap here at Road America. He's, I believe, corner 12, coming up to corner 13 up the hill here, and then he's going to go up the famous Road America front stretch hill. I don't actually remember the exact name of it, but it is well, one of the most famous aspects of any track on iRacing, and it is probably this track's most defining feature. But here he comes through the final corner. Actually sticks it perfectly there. Looks like he was getting a little bit oversteer anyway, but here coming up to the start-finish straight again, you can see this massive blind hill that you come over. A little bit dangerous on starts and restarts, so hopefully we don't see too much chaos on those tonight. But, well, he comes across the start-finish line up to corner 1 to start his first lap here, and, well, this is turn 1, this right-hander. Kind of nicely flowing with these cars. You kind of go the perfect speed to maintain 3rd gear, and it's a really nice corner to be able to occasionally go too wide in if you need to pass a car just exiting the pits or pass somebody at the very beginning of a lap. And we're going to come through this corner 3 here down the very, very long straightaway up until the probably the best passing area of the entire track, but one of the toughest corners as well. Corner 4 here at Road America is one that has put many a driver out. I guess technically it's corner 5 because that little kink is corner 4, but the others are apparently just A's and B's. But here is corner 5 again. You can see just how tough this apex can be, and actually he sticks it perfectly, but you see just how much he washes off the outside of the track there, kind of washing off into that gray surface. This corner as well on cold tires is brutal, corner 6. See Andrew kind of losing the back end there for a little bit, but managed to stick it and save it and get through. So, well, he is coming up now to corner number 8. Right before we get into the, well, actually, I called the start-finish straight pretty famous, but here's the carousel. Objectively one of the best corners in iRacing. I love this corner, personally. You can see what he's got to do with the gears. Goes all the way down to 4th, gets off the revs entirely, sticking it right to the apex, and you wash out perfectly back onto the outside. Again, what an amazing corner this is. Kind of, well, kind of the peak of the track lap, I'd argue, and then you get through this high-speed section here with the right-hand, left-hand kink. And right as the session comes to an end for qualifying to begin, yeah, there's plenty of exciting elements in this track, and I'm really looking forward to the racing tonight. I know it's only 35 laps, but well, it's a very long lap, and it's one that I think it'll be fun to watch. So Andrew, right as we get off the onboard camera with him, he's immediately the first guy to get back out on track. So, well, we will get qualifying all set up here, and we will watch and see what kind of times drivers can put up, and well, what is definitely going to be an interesting qualifying session, I can guarantee you that. The quickest time we saw in practice was a 2:01.4, meaning we're going to be just over 2 minutes a lap. Probably enough time for 4 laps if I had to guess. And, well, Andrew Bedrosian and Logan Pax, the top 2 qualifiers and finishers from Roval, are going to be your first 2 drivers out, followed by Rich Foligno and Trevor Anderson. In an attempt to make the graphics look a little nicer, the driver number on the bottom there, the colors match up with the color of their car. So unfortunately, there's not really an easy way to put driver car color on the graphics themselves, but if you do it with their numbers, then you can get a better idea of what colors to be looking out for. So of course, Andrew Bedrosian, the 5 car here, has blue and red on it, but I would consider it primarily a white car, so hence he has a white number. Logan Paxa there, the 16 in the background, getting a big washout off the corner there, but the 16 car of Logan Paxa will have a matching blue color, and so on and so forth. Well, the timing tower is up, but no driver's able to run a lap as of yet. And yeah, I just want to say, while we're waiting for Andrew to get to the start-finish line, get his first lap ready. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Hopefully we can all have some good racing fun tonight. And again, the chat is the place to go for any information, any questions you want to ask. And yeah, let's just get a little bit lively here. I know we're coming up to the holidays, and I kind of like to treat this as the holiday special of sorts. Well, yeah, I'll try to make it especially polished as best I can. Heather Forcier making a great point, kind of a callback to the Karts and Computer Series Spa race, where those of you that watched that will remember the infamously terrible camera angles where it was borderline impossible to see anything because every camera was behind a tree, so you'd have to be kind of peeking out every couple seconds, and the action was impossible to call. So hopefully we don't experience the same problems here at Road America. There's pretty tight forest sections, but I think all things considered, we might be okay if everything runs perfectly. So, bit of a different camera package here as well. I'm going to go to the static camera on Andrew Bedrosian and Logan Paxa. Logan running 4 of the top 5 sectors there. Andrew only taking the 3rd one in the first lap. So, haven't set a time as of yet, but as you can see, Logan's going to be in the perfect spot in this qualifying lap to be right behind Andrew, get the draft down the straightaways. And it's, well, based on the practice times, I mean, I don't mean to call Logan out. He's pretty quick, but yeah, he's going to be flying in this qualifying lap if he's able to stay in Andrew's draft. And look, he might just like flat out pass him on this lap. It's a genuine possibility. Let's get a good camera of the two of them. You can see Bedrosian swerving, trying to get Pax off him. They got a couple laps to go, but you got to wonder, when is Paxa going to really commit and try to make one lap his defining lap at the pole? Carl Dronka was able to make it. I wasn't sure if he'd be able to stop by. He wasn't there pretty late in the practice, but that does mean we'll have 14 drivers for tonight's race. So a great turnout, if I do say so myself. And with that many drivers, I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of action we can get up to tonight. John Guerra, Tanner Digner, Jack Hillier, and, well, Andrew Bedrosian is running an actual lap right now, but they're just starting out on their flying laps. Andrew Bedrosian running quickest in the 3rd sector, a personal best in the first 2, so looking to be a pretty good lap for him, but it looks like Logan actually ran quicker sectors in the first lap, save for the first, so, well, Logan isn't quite going to beat his last lap time, at least not it would appear, but of course that one doesn't count because it was his pit exit time, and I find I always seem to run better sectors on my pit exit lap for some reason as well, so, well, just the same as it's good to get a draft in the driver in front of you. You can see, whoa, huge washout from Logan. Now he's going to go by Andrew here on the qualifying lap. I was talking about it before. How much is Logan going to commit and try to get the pole lap right here at the beginning? And, well, of course, the understeer you get from driving in behind the toe of another car, that dirty air in front of you. Well, Logan was dealing with that. You saw the huge washout, but, well, now he's going for the pole, and we're going to come to the end of the first lap. Logan running about looking on pace for maybe a 2:02, maybe early 2:03. Let's see what time he can put to the top of the board, but I think he'll be obviously quicker than Andrew as he did pass him on the lap. So Logan's going to come up to the line. Let's see what he's going to be able to do first. Logan Paxa. No times as of yet. They are not yet posted, both of which should have been legal lap times. So Andrew, oh, they're going to stack the times as we often have on these qualifiers. So just a brief second, we'll just reset those, but well, it looks like for the time being, Logan will indeed run a quicker first lap, as we could kind of assume based on the fact that he did pass Andrew on his lap. And yes, I can now confirm that he did. Let me just try to get the graphic up there properly. There we go. So 2 Paxes sandwiching Bedrosian there in the middle. Bedrosian running 7/10 down on the first lap, so definitely some room for improvement there for him. But as you can see, the colors should be coordinated. Of course, David Paxa running a fairly silver car. Andrew has actually dropped off the lap. Gonna re-exit the pits once again. So Dronka, Salvatore both run laps. Salvatore within a second ahead of Paxa, actually only a couple tenths behind Bedrosian. So great lap for the 91 of Salvatore, who came so close to a podium last week at Roval. But we got to wonder if tonight's the night he finally makes that work and is able to put together a podium performance. Well, I say finally, but this is only race 2. It's not like he's gone a long time without one. John Garrow will run a lap as well. He's going to go 6th. So Carl and Salvatore both leapfrog Paxa. So now the top 6 have already set their times, but again, we do have 14, so we got some drivers left to set lap times. Trevor Anderson is coming up to set his first time fairly soon, and again, just a reminder, Anderson was really quick in practice. He was running great over there, and genuinely curious to see if he's able to repeat that feat once again. We're just going to reset the qualifying graphics so that they actually update. But again, Paxa, the only driver out on track in this certain section that has yet to set a time yet. So. That has actually set a time yet. Of course, Jack Hillier, Caleb Campbell, and Trevor Anderson have not done so as of yet. But again, we got some time. We'll just throw up the clock there as well. Haven't got the chance to put that up yet, but already 6 minutes in, actually. So Logan will get this lap here. He'll get another one, but I think he's only got 2 laps to go at the end of this one. So, well, Logan, no sector times are displaying for him, so we'll see if he's able to improve his overall lap time from his 2:02 8.38 he said a minute ago. No early sectors showing up. Will his time count? It will not. So 2:02 8.38 will be the very best he can do. Andrew Bedrosian on his out lap right now, trying to improve upon his previous time. Caleb Campbell, Trevor Anderson, like I was talking about, only a 1/10.5 down on Paxa. What a debut lap from the series rookie tonight. Great lap by Anderson. Bumps Bedrosian down to 3rd. So Bedrosian went from being the quickest guy in practice to dropping down to 3rd. David Paxa will run another lap. Almost coming within the 2nd mark of the pole sitter, the provisional pole sitter, I should say, Logan Paxa. So he'll jump Carl Dronka up to 5th. Now 7 times are in, and Trevor Anderson just immediately pits. You got to wonder if he was like, well, that's probably the best lap I'm going to do. I'm just going to dip off. Those of you that watched F1 a couple weeks back will remember when Charles Leclerc did a similar thing in the Ferrari car, where he said, well, this car really isn't good enough to do as well as I just did, so I did a great lap. I'm done for the day. Got to wonder if that's the case for Trevor, if he does genuinely think he can make up a 1/10.5 and try to take the pole here from Logan Paxa, but well, Paxa didn't get it last week, and it was something he was very familiar with doing last year. Let's just go to Tanner Digner now, I think has set his first lap of the session. He has. He's gone to 6th, so great first sector for the 55 car. Marshall Crocker there in the 15 is looking to set his first lap time here. The 15 car just coming through that final DRS sector with the long 2 sweeping kinks there up into the last couple of corners. Logan Paxa has actually run quick in the 3rd sector, so we'll see if he can put together a better lap than he has. But remember, currently it is Paxa, Anderson, Bedrosian, Salvatore, David Paxa, Tanner Dignard, Carl Dronka, and John Guerra are your 8 drivers to run a lap so far. The 15 running a personal best in his 4th sector, now 5th sector as well. So looking to be a great lap for Marshall Crocker Sr. Let's see if my dad can put together a time, maybe put himself in the top 5, maybe somewhere towards the mid to top of the grid. But Logan runs quickest in the 4th sector, goes a little bit slower in the 5th, but we'll see what he's able to put together. Can Marshall put himself in the top 5? No time registers, so must have gone off track at some point throughout the lap. But Logan Paxa will improve his time, going to jump up about 2/10 to a 2:02.611. So good lap for him. Impressive to see that he was able to improve upon that already very good time he set before. Now, Caleb Campbell's looking to set his first lap. It's going to be a little bit off the pace. Probably not going to crack the top 8 there, but at least you get a banker lap in. That way you can at least be ahead of those who do not qualify, which with 5 drivers left that have not been able to qualify, including Rich Foligno, Woody Mahan, and Manuel Guerra, might as well get ahead of the others. Rich Foligno, speaking of which, is going to jump to 7th now, going to leapfrog just in front of Carl Dronka. Woody Mahan as well. Going to go all the way to 4th. Woody jumps Salvatore and Paxa. So some great times being put down from that midfield. Very competitive from positions 4 to 7. Bedrosian back on the pole. I was wondering when he was going to get his lap time in and go for a better lap. Salvatore as well, only half a tenth off. What a qualifying session we've seen so far. So the 91 car is Salvatore doing his very best as well. Carl Dronka just comes across with the 38, leapfrogs Rich Foligno. He's going to go, get into the ballpark of Tanner Dignard and David Paxa there as well. So really close in the middle of the field for qualifying here. Let's see the next competitive lap time. Dignard is going to come across again. Not going to improve. So it looks like he'll stay ahead of Dronka, but not by much. Now Marshall Crocker Sr. is the closest driver on track to setting his first lap. So again, he's going to come through those 2 kinks. Running a pretty good lap time. Personal best in sectors 2 and 3. See how he does in 4. These last couple of sectors are a lot shorter than the first couple. So Logan Paxa running quickest in the 3rd sector. He may be able to take his provisional pullback from Andrew Bedrosian, but Andrew ran an absolute flyer, and Salvatore was right in his tail the entire lap. So looks like Crocker isn't going to make it in time for the 10-minute mark, so we won't be able to set another lap time, but as long as he can set a banker lap here and maybe even get some positions, might go, based on the time he's set, maybe 7th or 8th. It's a little bit of a lockup here coming through the final corner, but should be able to put in a competitive lap time as he comes up the hill. 2 minutes, 2:01, 2:02. It's going to be a pretty good lap here. Comes to the green flag. Let's see where he goes. Crocker will only slot in 10th, but top 10 in a race with 14. That's not bad. Logan goes to the pole immediately, as we just talked about. So just barely over Bedrosian again. Look at how close the competition is up here, and that'll be the last lap for Paxa, as he is now your provisional pole sitter, but doesn't get another lap. So he's going to go to the pits. Woody Mahan still trying to set a lap there. He was in 5th at the time. Got to get a proper camera angle on him. Woody's going to go around. Final corner. He was so close to setting a great lap there as well. Really had the potential to put something special together there, but well, that'll be the end of his qualifying session. Caleb Campbell is looking kind of slow, just running off the pace a little bit, but Carl Dronka looks to be the last car trying to set a competitive lap time. David Pax is going to go down at his personal best in the first 3 sectors, so not much progress being made from him there. Caleb Campbell, again, isn't going to beat his first lap, but at least he got a banker lap in there. So both Manuel Guerra and who was the other driver to not set a lap? Somebody else didn't set a lap time as well, but those two will start from the back of the field, whoever they are. So just going to finish up here, and can Carl improve? No, he's pretty far off the pace. So that should be it. I don't think any other drivers will be eligible to add on another lap. So nope, Carl will run a 2:19, which is well short of his 2:04 he ran earlier. But well, look at how close the parity is on those top, probably 8 or 9 spots. I mean, you talk about the top 4 separated by only 8 tenths. Only 2 tenths if you talk about the top 3. So Paxa, Bedrosian, Salvatore. Great laps from all of them. But Anderson as well, making his debut tonight, already goes to 4th. Mahan, your final podium spot from our race at Roval. Go round at the top 3, and now Dronka's just going to head back to the pits. Marshall Crocker Sr. may be eligible to set his final lap time here, but did not run a personal best in any of the 4 sectors, so don't think he'll beat his previous lap time here. Will more than likely stay 10th. John Guerra also wasn't running lap time, and I know Carl Dronka was well short of the original time, so I think qualifying will about come to an end, but we'll wait to put up the official results until we know that for sure. Yeah, Crocker's going to come back to the pits. So with that, we can now put the end to qualifying, and we'll just wait a second to show the official graphic once we can get the official results in, and then we'll be ready for the warm-up lap, and we'll also show your championship standings coming out of Roval. Remember, we do have 2 drop races throughout the season, so if your favorite driver happened to have a bad race at Roval or happens to have a bad race tonight, well, there's always more races in which they are eligible for points, because you drop your 2 worst points finishes in the season, and of course a 15-race season, only 2 races in, there's plenty of time left for drivers to gain more time if they think they can do so. So David Pax is still out there, just running to the end of his allotted time. I mean, never bad to have a little bit more practice if you have the time and the session won't kick you out. So usually it's around 3 minutes, but he's just going to head back to the pits and it'll give him the time to do so. So no, there we go. The session has officially come to an end. Well, that means we are now done with qualifying. Let's just pull your graphics off the screen and get ready to go for the start of the proper race. Going to go head to look at our front row. Again, of course, we do have an entire warm-up lap to get through. But before we show your results for qualifying, well, let me just get your final championship results punched in here, and then we will be good to go to show you the results coming into tonight's race. And there are your championship standings after round 1 at Charlotte Roval. So Of course, the two drivers running tonight that had not run a race previous are not going to have their points counted, so Trevor Anderson and John Garrett will not have their points show up. Of course, they did not run any at Roval, but Logan Paxton, your championship leader with 53 points. He's coming away with, I think, the race win for 50, and then all 3 individual bonus points, so he comes away with 53 points. Andrew Bedrosian, who got the 3 bonus points for a pole, as well as 1 additional bonus point for leading a lap, added on to his 40 points he gets for the win, the second place tally he scored there at Roval, so he will round out the top 2. Woody Mahan will round out the 3 spots, as of course he did finish 3rd on the podium. Tim Salvatore, David Paxa finished 4th and 5th to round out the top 5. Of course, Salvatore came very close to finishing in the top 3 there as well. Kind of had a podium spot punch, but just that unfortunate spin he took in one of the middle, more tricky, I think the corner 3 and 4 section there, the first lap, so he will have to settle for 4th place points there. After that, Marshall Crocker Sr. finishing in 6th. We're just about to go green. The lights are going out, so after that, Manuel Guerra will come away with the 7th best points into the first race. Rich Foligno, Jack Hillier, Tanner Dignard rounding out the top 10, dropping down 2 points each. Caleb Campbell and Carl Dronka with 19 and 18 points respectively. So really anybody in the midfield there is still competitive for getting additional points. So plenty of time to get whatever you can for yourself here, especially in this race. I mean, really anybody could, from the top maybe 6 or 7 spots, could go up to the championship lead here with a great race and some chaos in behind. I mean, it's kind of the nature of this point system. Anything can happen in any given race, but with that being said, there are your championship points, but let's head to your qualifying grid for tonight's race. That way we can get you up to speed with who is starting where. On the pole here tonight with his wonderful 2:02.164 lap, which is, again, great by practice standards. That on how short Logan was into the stint on tires, that's a great lap with the grip he had left, grip he had with very little tire heat. So great lap there by Logan. He will be tonight's pole sitter for the first time this season, taking it over from Andrew Bedrosian, who will start 2nd on the grid. Starting off the 2nd row, making his debut tonight in the series, Trevor Anderson running a 3rd place lap time. That'll be, he's starting 4th behind Tim Salvatore. Kind of mixed the 2 up there on track for me. Besides that, Woody Mahan will start in 5th, rounding out the top 5. Of course, scored a podium in last race. In our last week's race there at Charlotte Roval. David Paxa there in the 53 car will round out the 3rd row of the grid. All mixed up here with these car positions. After that is Carl Dronka, who will be starting in 8th, and is Tanner Dignard starting to his inside in 7th, starting row 4. As for row 5, it looks like everybody's super mixed up in this part of the track, so looks like Rich Foligno will start in 9th, starting off the 5th row there. He's moved down a couple of spots, dropped behind a couple of guys, but hopefully he's able to return to the correct position in just a moment. But Marshall Crocker Sr. will round out the top 10, coming away with a impressive 6th place performance in the last race. After that, John Guerra and Caleb Campbell will round out row 6. There's John Guerra in the 11 car. There is Caleb Campbell in the 13. Normally both drivers run the 11, but we just had to make a compromise tonight, and maybe we'll swap them out every race, but hopefully that doesn't get too confusing. Well, we should have a couple more drivers to go. There's somewhere. Jack Hillier and Manuel Guerra. Yeah, they are in the race. So Jack Hillier will be starting 13th. Manuel Guerra will be starting 14th. Unfortunately, they decide not to show up on the graphic. No, not going to work. So, well, with that, Logan Paxa will once again remain your pole sitter. And, well, I say once again in context of the general history of our races we've hosted as a whole. But, of course, Andrew took the first pole of the season earlier this year. So, well, Logan's got something to prove to himself, I'd imagine. I mean, not taking the pole in his first race as many, including himself, I'd imagine, would expect after, again, just how dominant he's been really the entire history of any series I've ever put together. So he's got a lot to prove tonight, and finally taking the pole. We'll see if Andrew's able to complete the same move that Logan did on him last week, that be starting 2nd, winning from the outside spot on the front row. Very quickly, we'll throw up tonight's race info, a little bit of race info about Road America that I didn't mention earlier. Of course, you see the lights up top, about to go green once the pace car takes the right-hander onto pit road. 35 laps tonight, about 2 minutes apiece, so should run you about an hour and 10 minutes. The race should be over around approximately 9:30, maybe 9:40, so hopefully we don't run too late tonight. Again, partly cloudy conditions, very little wind, so it's a beautiful day here in virtual Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin for the Road America 2nd round of the Snowstorm Open Wheel Racing Series. Got to pull the race info down as we are getting ready to go green. Hopefully you're all ready for a great night of racing. Getting ready to head out tonight. The pace car is going to take the right-hander onto pit road. Let's get your graphics up here and get ready to go. Logan Paxa is the control car. Wait for that green light to go. Let's hope we can get a clean first lap of the race. Logan is on the loud pedal. Green flag here for the second round of the Snowstorm Open Wheel Racing Series at Road America. Tim Salvatore immediately diving to the inside of Andrew Bedrosian, trying to get whatever position he can to start off the race. We're going to go to the blimp camera. Oh, and immediately the trees, the old famous trees we used to always talk about. But Salvatore still to the inside of Bedrosian. Trevor Anderson's going to wipe out a little bit behind in the pack, going to go off into the grass, comes back on. So is he able to save it? Is he able to save it? Bounces a tire off, but horrible start to the race for Trevor Anderson. Just got a little bit off into the grass, which is, I'd imagine, not what he would have wanted. Lost all those spots of a very small mistake. Jack Hillier is going to go around as well in the very first corner. So already a couple corners into the action, and we've kind of spread out in the top three. Logan Paxton, your pulsar. Where is Andrew Bedrosian? Andrew's dropped back a couple spots. Must have been in that little tangle with Tim Salvatore. So Salvatore coming out the best man of that. A little bit back in the pack. David Pax is going to wipe out through the fourth corner. Just washes out a little bit into that hard left-hander. More positions going to jostle around. This is an insane first lap. John Garrow a little ways back looks to have gone off as well, but he has now returned to the track. Carl Dronka, who started out much better than he is now, started in 8th. A huge piece of his front wing missing. Must have made contact with somebody there a little bit further back. I think it was Manuel Guerra approximately in the spot he would have been in. So insane first lap. No cautions because everybody is still on the track. Jack Hillier's going to wipe out again, but he's got tire damage. Yeah, he'll have to head back to the pits there. Caleb Campbell again missing a big piece of his front wing. So all sorts of chaos throughout the field, but Logan Paxton now going to head through that right-hand kink through turn 10 and 11, this high-speed section of the track, and what a great first lap for him. Just kind of avoided the chaos behind with Salvatore and Bedrosian. Got a perfect jump there on the start, and well, he has taken off. The only race winner of the season so far, and he is in peak form tonight. But Tim Salvatore there, up to his best position he's been all season. Running in second at the moment with Woody Mahan, and now Andrew Bedrosian behind him. Bedrosian's going to head past Tanner Dignard there, and will now take over sole possession of fourth. David Paxa, important to mention, the car's still in fully okay condition, but after that spin, not so much a spin, but the drastic understeer he got there in corner 4 that last time by, lost a bunch of spots, and he's going to drop down to 9th. Of course, Trevor Anderson, who started 4th, will drop down to 8th himself, so a lot of ground to make up for some of these guys further back in the field, but that means we just get to see some competitive racing in a moment. Going to head up to Woody Mahan there in the 84 car, close behind Tim Salvatore ahead, but Andrew Bedrosian right behind. This is the battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, respectively. But in the background, you see there Tanner Dignard, who jumps up to the top 5. Great first lap for him. We're going to put up the number of positions gained or lost for each driver in that first lap so far. So Manuel Guerra moves up from the tail of the field all the way up to 10th. Carl Dronka and Caleb Campbell had to come into the pits this time for service, and Jack Hillier behind them is also in the pits. Had to come in for a quick repair. Bedrosian, is he going to make a move this time down into 4? He is, so he's going to head to the inside of Woody Mahan. Going to dive up the inside. These two finished 2nd and 3rd last race. Bedrosian almost got the nose under the 91 of Tim Salvatore, but Salvatore will keep the spot for the time being. Going to come up through Corvette Corner here, the 6th corner here at Road America. All three drivers still staying fairly competitive for spots. Trevor Anderson a little ways back, looks to be trying to get through the field a little bit. Going to make the pass there on Marshall Crocker Sr., so he'll move up to 7th. Crocker will drop down to 8th, but still up 2 spots from his qualifying spot of 10th. David Pax is still back there in 9th, but trying to track down the guys ahead. Going to go to Rich Foligno as well, kind of just driving there on his own, but he's already made 3 spots up from the very beginning of the race, gone from 9th to 6th, so great start for Foligno, and Dignard as well making up some spots too, so several guys the beneficiary of just how much chaos there was in that first lap. And then 10th and 11th we see Manuel and John Garrow running the very similar cars, kind of in the same spot there on track. In just a moment we will put up the track map so you can see exactly where your favorite driver is on track, but well, let's go back to the proper gap between everybody. Bedrosian will make the move on Salvatore a little ways back. Goes ordering through the field. Both drivers going to come together. Salvatore into the wall. Bedrosian into the wall, missing his entire back wing. Bedrosian back up to speed immediately. Salvatore as well. Are we going to see a caution? No, we will not. So we're going to wait a little bit longer, but we got to get a quick replay of that before some more chaos happens. Again, yellow flag finally comes out. So both drivers, a chaotic start to that race for both of them. Salvatore defended the inside. Bedrosian comes across, and I don't know. I don't genuinely know how I'd call that. Let's see maybe a chopper camera and hope we don't get in the way of any trees. But so this is coming up to corner number 12. A very good passing corner in the track for sure. Bedrosian's going to head to the outside, tries to go all the way around. That's genuinely tough. I think Bedrosian got down a little bit early, but I think that was his corner once he made the move on Salvatore. So both drivers will take damage. Of course, they do have quick repairs, but I'd imagine not the way either driver wanted to start the race. And we do have a caution for the first time all season, so I'll just pull the time down there up top on the top left, and now we get the proper lap count. So Caleb Campbell looks like he actually maintained his lap, and Jack Hillier will only go a single lap down, and we do have wave around, so if he's able to make up a couple positions, well, he may get his lap back at some point throughout the race, but that is our first caution of the season. And wow, I mean, let's just take a minute to break down what just happened. Carl Dronka actually going to be the beneficiary of that as well. Had to come into the pits to get a quick repair, but he is going to be allowed to stay on the lead lap, as he never was actually passed by Logan Paxa, the leader there. So, holy, let's just break down exactly what happened there off that start of the race. So Tanner Dignard also was up to third, but again, we'll put up the gains here. So Tim Salvatore, great start to the race for him. Jumped up a whole bunch of spots there after all the chaos on the restart, including, well, I mean, Bedrosian losing a couple spots there, I think getting tangled in with Tim. So he was aggressive off the start. It worked for him. He got the spot, but once Andrew made his way through the field and made a pretty aggressive move, the two just finally got together, and both drivers will be able to come in for a quick repair. Of course, pit road was not open this time by, so hence why Bedrosian is missing a rear wing there in the shot in the background. But Logan Paxa remaining your race leader, the only thing that really did stay consistent throughout that entire start. But Woody Mahan is going to jump up your final podium finisher from last week's race, having a great start to the season for himself. He's going to restart here in second, unless he pits and gives up spots to other drivers. But well, if I had to guess, the fuel number tonight, probably about 25 laps, maybe somewhere in there. Might be just a couple over, but you will need to make a pit stop tonight, just like the drivers did at Charlotte Roval. Who is that up ahead? Jack Hillier in the 6th car. Let's hope he doesn't make contact with any of the drivers coming by there on the lead lap. No, it doesn't look like he will, so yep, he's able to make it back to the track, and I believe he had already lost his lap previous, so I believe in terms of track position, he should be able to maintain that. Hopefully he can get some quick repairs there and be right back on track. Hopefully he can maybe compete for some of the spots towards the bottom of the top 10, maybe make his way up, depending on how much chaos goes on in this race and just how competitive of a race we do have. Manuel and John Garrett trading spots back and forth there, but does not appear that they will actually be 4 positions. So, well, guys are just about to come into pit road, so we will go to a brief break while they take pit stops, and we'll see where they are when we come back. But before we come back to tonight and see our proper pit road exit, well, shenanigans, I'd imagine, based on a couple of drivers, I just have a little bit of a Christmas wishes video to send out to all of you, as of course it is that time of year, and well, I figure why not take a break from the traditional swing of things. So, well, here's just a little bit of a holiday wish to you guys. They're watching at home. Hi, everybody. I know this isn't the usual manner in which you'd expect to be seeing me or expect to be spending one of these breaks on the broadcast, but I just felt it important with the Christmas season that it'd be more of a face-to-face happy holidays message than the one that I'll inevitably give towards the end of the broadcast. But just on behalf of all the drivers and on behalf of myself, this has been, of course, a very tough year for everybody. But I think speaking as somebody who got through this year in large part as a result of course, both their family, their friends around them, but also through racing and through motorsport in whatever form it may be. And though my goal at the beginning of the year with the Carts to Computers Racing series is the series, the precursor to this series, with many of the drivers from this one in it as well. But I just wanted to kind of bring that to people in a time when, at the very beginning of COVID come March, we didn't really have a racing outlet. Nobody did. So I felt it important that I find some way to let people at home watch those that they loved and they couldn't see in the real world, but also give the drivers a commitment to racing that felt special and one that they could still do even if their real racing endeavors weren't possible through COVID. So when I did that, you guys all came out in droves. There was some great feedback, and I know many of you that will be watching this were just present in that series as well. And I think it's really important to thank all you guys that came out to that for the holidays, because this has been it's been a tough year. But knowing that we've had all sorts of support that we have from various people that watch these broadcasts is very important to me, and I know it's very important to the drivers. So whether it be the old series, the new series, or taking your kids to real life racing commitments, whether it be driving your sons to karting events. I know a lot of you guys come from the Hamilton team. And all those guys will have, of course, to echo the sentiment that I'm making. But you guys are the reason that karting is possible. I know for my dad that takes me to racing every week, that's without him, I wouldn't be able to do it. And without the community around me at racing, that I know some of which watch these broadcasts. And thank you to you guys as well. It wouldn't be special for me, and it wouldn't be special for the drivers. So it wouldn't feel right doing this entire broadcast and doing a happy holidays message without making it a little more personal and just making a genuine message to those at home, because it's very much appreciated. And on behalf of all the drivers, thank you so much, parents, for what you do for your kids, and for family for watching this and coming out to real races. It's really appreciated, and I can tell you that on behalf of somebody that, well, they may not have as promising of a racing career in the future as many of your kids do in in those racing in tonight's race. It's really appreciated, and it's very important to a lot of people. And without you guys, this series, the Cards to Computer series, and all sorts of real life racing series wouldn't be able to happen. So thank you, everybody. Happy holidays, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of the broadcast. Well, just a little something I wanted to put together earlier today when I had the time, just because. Well, I mean, I know that a lot of you at home are new to the series and are new to these broadcasts in general, but just wanted to put out a bit of a message for everybody there, because yeah, I know it's been a tough season for, well, both myself, but for everybody, for all the drivers at home, and for all the parents and family members. So felt like I'd do a bit more of a proper Happy Holidays message. Well, I figured we would probably have the time. I assumed it would be a crazy enough race that we'd have a bit of a break we had to fill. So, yeah, indeed, Happy Holidays, everybody. This does kind of serve as the unofficial holiday race here, but just with time kind of being of the essence these days, didn't quite have the time to do really much more than that. But I know, again, that I'm going to mention it at the end of the broadcast, but, well, as those of you that have stuck around for a long time will remember, I can have a bit of a tendency to ramble on at the end of the broadcast. So wanted to make it a little bit more official, a little bit quicker. But that being said, we are one lap away, I think, from going back to green once the pace car goes around one more time. So we're coming towards the end of the lap. But, well, momentarily we should be good to go, maybe 2 or 3 more minutes. But, well, I think it's important that after all the chaos of that very first section of the race, we kind of do a through the field here and go driver by driver to figure out where guys are, maybe talk a little bit about their starts and qualifyings, and just the kind of night they've been having thus far. But for starters, Logan Paxa, the only guy, as I mentioned, who's kind of been consistent the entire night. He was your pole sitter there in the 16 car, of course, the first winner of the season there at Charlotte Roval last week. And I mean, his qualifying certainly wasn't without a little bit of chaos. He was constantly at risk of losing it from different guys, whether it be Trevor Anderson, Tim Salvatore, and Andrew Petrosian. But he held on there. He'll get the 3 bonus points for being your pole sitter. And, well, now he's remained your race leader from every lap of this race so far. So nobody else, I believe, has had a lap-led bonus as of yet. But he is still your pole sitter, and not much has really changed. Hello to the Porsche pace car driver in front of him as well. So the 16 car, smooth sailing for him so far tonight. Behind him, the 84 car, Woody Mahan, finishing, I think, third in the very last race. So first pole sitter of the season, other than, of course, Petrosian and Paxa. And I'd imagine those two will be guys that we see on the podium quite a lot this season. But, well, Mahan getting off to a great start this season, and an even better start tonight, already up to second place with many drivers in the rearview mirror that he had to deal with last week. So, well, he may have qualified 5th, which is a little ways down from a couple of the other drivers in the field. But, man, moving all the way up to second there. Great start for the 84 car. Looking forward to seeing if he can make maybe mount a charge there on Logan Paxa for the lead. Got plenty of time left in the race to do so. After that, Tanner Dignard, a guy who's having a great race for himself as well, qualified 7th tonight, but after having a very impressive performance at Roval that unfortunately was cut short by internet troubles, well, tonight he's making it work there in the 55 car, and I like the paint scheme as well. It's very unique compared to the other drivers, and it's, from a broadcast perspective, very easy to pick out in a crowd, which is what I like to see. So the 55 car getting his tires warmed up, looking ready to go for the very next restart. They're running at the top 3, so let's see if he's able to come away tonight with his very first podium of the season, and, well, I'm sure that would be very appreciated on his end and ours. It's always a pleasure to talk to somebody new in the post-race interviews. But after that, Rich Foligno, great start to the race for him, starting all the way down there in 9th. Not a terrible qualifying lap by any means, but, well, he's been making drastic progress up to the front of the field, already up to 4th now, running just behind Tanner Dignard. So I'm looking forward to seeing if that battle is going to form up for that final podium spot. But, yeah, Rich, who I think had a pretty uneventful race at last week there at Roval. So, I mean, tonight, looking forward to seeing if he can make his real statement presence known on tonight's race, because he again, he's a guy that I talked about in the old Cards to Computer series seasons, but he's a guy who can always play a large part in races, and I'm hoping to see that he has a good season this year, because he's a really nice guy, and he's a guy that I've raced against personally in the past and other iRacing commitments, so I know he's got the pace to do something really nice, really good this season, I should say. Trevor Anderson around at the top 5, and what a chaotic race the 25 car has had. I mean, starting off with that incident where he went off in corner 1 on the very beginning of the race, but, well, since then he's made things work, and I mean, he got the quick repair he needed to get back in contention, because I believe he did need to use one, but now all the way back up to 5th, and I mean, he qualified ahead of the 2 cars sitting in front of him, actually the 3 cars ahead of him, all the way up to Woody Mahan, so you know he's got the flat-out pace to make something happen tonight. So the rookie in his debut with the Anaheim Ducks number 25 car, he's got some time, and I'd imagine he's got the pace to make something big happen. But after that, Marshall Crocker, we got to hurry a little bit because we're getting towards the end of the lap, but the 15 car already up 4 spots from the beginning of the race, so 10th to 6th. Great start for my dad. Let's maybe see if we can get his first podium in any of the series we've hosted so far, but he's got the pace to do it. looked really good tonight. I know he's got a lot of practice put in for tonight and preparation and comfort for Road America. David Paxa, the second of the two Paxas, only one spot down from the very beginning of the race for the 53 car. Maybe not the start he would have liked. Already lost a couple spots, and I know he wiped out there in corner 4 at the beginning, but well, he made a recovery, and now that everybody's back on the even playing field, let's see just how well he's able to hold his position. Manuel Guerra, the biggest mover of the race, up from the very back of the grid there in 14th all the way up to 8th, so great start to the race for him. He's got that forward momentum. Let's see if he can keep those spots now that all the quick guys who had those incidents a moment ago are starting from the back of the grid. His brother, John Guerra, running a very similar number 11 car. His birthday just a couple days ago, so another happy birthday to John. He will start in the 9th spot. Carl Dronka will round out the top 10. Andrew Bedrosian and Tim Salvatore, we saw a moment ago having incidents. Caleb Campbell and Jack Hillier getting ready to go. But we got to hurry because the pace car is about to take that hard right onto pit road. Logan Paxa is, as always, the control car. And here we go, getting ready to go green here. Huge jump by the 16 car. Massive jump off from Woody Mahan, but besides that, looks like everybody kind of evened out pretty nicely. No huge gaps forming. Tim Salvatore already going to make the move on John Guerra at the very beginning of the lap. Now he might go for Bedrosian as well. No, looks like he's going to wait just a moment, but after that, John Guerra, Caleb Campbell, and Jack Hillier not having the starts they probably would have liked. Tanner Dignard's already lost a couple spots. Tanner Dignard's off in the first corner. The 55 car will make his return to the track. No noticeable damage to that car, but he already lost a couple spots here on this restart. Rich Foligno will jump up to 3rd, so he'll take over that final podium spot. Can he recollect it? Dignard back on the track. Nice save from the 55 car. But now it's Trevor Anderson trying to make the move in the 99 to Foligno. I think they're going to go almost side by side. Yeah, Trevor Anderson down to his inside, so big move here by the 25 car. He's going to be able to make it stick into corner 4. Again, a very tough braking zone. He's going to brake way earlier than Foligno. Foligno walks up and he'll go through, and he won't make the corner properly, so that 99 Hinchcliffe car of Rich Foligno. In the background, Marshall Crocker Sr. is going to go off. Makes a return to the track and doesn't seem to have any noticeable damage, so he will continue on. He'll just lose a couple spots right there. But Trevor Anderson, I talked about how quick he was in qualifying, making the move on Foligno. Great braking point there into that very tricky corner 4, and forced a mistake there from Foligno, and he will make the move up to 3rd. But Foligno and David Pax after that already got his spot back from earlier, up 2 spots and started the restart. Tim Salvatore in the background. Is he going to make the save? He does. Almost goes off. Crocker behind as well will go off. In this section of the track here at Road America, but everybody manages to find a way through. Tanner Dignard is now headed back to the pits. Manuel Guerra just makes the move on Caleb Campbell here, I think into the corkscrew here. Sorry, not the corkscrew, the carousel. So many similar C corner names in iRacing, but Guerra's going to get a little bit too close to the inside. Caleb Campbell will take that spot back further back in the field. Carl Dronka, Andrew Bedrosian will make the move here on David Paxa. He's flying through the field after that restart. You know, you never want to see such a quick driver go all the way to the back of the field with an incident like that, but Andrew's got a fire under him. He's trying to make all the positions up that he can. Breaking away here from the 2 guys behind, that's Paxa and Dronka. Carl Dronka up quite a number of spots from the beginning here. I think he was down to 10th after needing to repair damage after that initial start. He's trying to make the pass here on Paxa, but he's going to pull out of the slipstream. Guess he thinks he's got enough momentum to make the pass here into 1, but no, I think David is far enough ahead that he shouldn't have to worry for the time being. We're going to throw up the track map here. Haven't quite had time to put it on the display yet because it's been such a chaotic race, but there you go. Hopefully that way we can look out for some battles on track where they may happen. We're going to throw up the interval tracker here, showing you the gap between every driver on track. And Andrew Bedrosian is coming up every corner here on Rich Foligno. Now he's trying to get back into the top 4, I should say. Already made his way into the top 5. Got to watch a little bit further back as well. That battle between Paxa and Dronka is still as rampant as ever, but back up a little ways to the front, Foligno and Bedrosian. You got to wonder, what is Andrew willing to do to make the move here on the 99 car? Because, again, we saw a moment ago, if he gets a little bit too aggressive, sometimes bad things can happen between guys like Tim and Salvatore. Aggressive driving can work great against certain guys, but if 2 aggressive drivers get together, it can perhaps not be the outcome both guys would want. So, Foligno is going to be defending for the time being. Let's see how hard he does defend here on the inside. Coming up to now, I think he's just going to either let him straight by or, yeah, maybe just didn't get the run he would have liked out of the corner. Maybe lifted a little bit too much. So Bedrosian back into the top 4. Trevor Anderson is the next car a little ways up the road there in the 25. But David Pax is still defending from Dronka, has maintained the spot to this point. So the 53 car, great race for him. The 38 just doesn't seem to be able to make up enough ground and make the move on him as of yet, or maybe it's a long-term plan. Not sure if he's thinking maybe fuel conservation or something like that, but now he's going to have a huge run coming out of the carousel down through that right-hand kink in turn 10. It's a very long straightaway, lots of time and lots of room to make a move here. Going to come down here and do, this is corner number 12 here. Is he going to make the move down to the inside? No, the 38 car decides to stay on the line and maintain his position. So there's Salvatore in behind as well. But some really nice camera angles here at Road America. Again, it's a beautiful track, and it's a real-life facility that I've always wanted to go to in my own racing passion. So again, a massive, maybe a tourism plug here for the wonderful city of Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. But yeah, if you're ever able to go to Road America here, it's one of the best racing facilities in the entire world. Can head back a little bit. Karl Dronka, I've never seen a car that close to the back end on another, so he is getting all the tow that he possibly can. Maybe not be enough, though. He's to the inside of David Paxa, but is he going to be able to stick it into corner one? Gets to the inside. He's going to clear him entirely. Can he make the corner safely, though? He's not going to have a great run, but it looks like it won't. No, it won't matter for the time being. So David Paxa is able to keep about a car length, maybe 2 car lengths back. He'll still be in the slipstream this time by the straightaway as we come all the way up to corner 4. This is the best passing zone on the track. So, well, he's got the time if he needs to make the move here. But now as we come down towards corner 4 once again, Woody Mahan has to come off the track. When did he have an incident? He was running in second just a moment ago, so Trevor Anderson will make up another spot. He'll move up to third, but what happened to Mahan? So Mahan all on his own in the 84 car. Paxa quite a ways up the road, but Anderson's way back there. Yeah, just gets a little bit too far into the outside dirt there in corner 1. Anderson will just slip right by. Same with Andrew Bedrosian. Both guys are able to avoid the damage, but a heartbreaking moment there for Woody Mahan, looking for his second podium of the season. He's had such a great day so far, and again, solo incidents don't result in cautions in this series, at least not this season. So, Woody Mahan, I mean, if he can stay on the lead lap, come out with damage, or without damage, uses quick repair, maybe has the potential to get back in this thing with another caution, but for the time being, he'll drop out of the top 10, meaning Karl Dronka will hop up into the top 5, as well as Rich Foligno will move back up to 4th. So, again, kind of been that game with the hand on the bat from the 80s this entire race. So much chaos happening throughout, but I think David Paxa is the closest car to another on track. Karl Dronka not too far off in the distance, but we'll go back to the traditional gap intervals. That way we can have a better idea of exactly where guys are on track. Dronka, sorry, who was that? Rich Foligno goes around. Again, yet another incident we've seen. Kind of just a solo thing is happening here at Road America. Just how tough this track was kind of underestimated by even myself coming into tonight. I knew it was a very tough layout to figure out, but now Foligno here coming through corner 12. He's been really quick all day, made it a couple of key passes, but yeah, just locks up a little bit too hard. And once the back end comes around on these Indy Pro cars, it can be tough to gather up again. So he'll go around. He's going to lose a couple of spots, meaning that Karl Dronka and David Paxa will both jump up a spot. Paxa in this case going up to the top 5. So yeah, it looks like Trevor Anderson Rich Foligno for the time being will head out of the race. Can't mix up those 2 orange cars, but again, he still has a quick repair. So if he thinks he's able to make it back in, then the spot is his. It looks like Tanner Dignard is going to give up the position to Logan Paxa on track. So Paxa will lap Dignard for the first time. Of course, Tanner Dignard having the incident that he had a moment ago in the outside of turn 1 there. So he will lose a lap, but again, never too late for more to happen. David Paxa making the move on Karl Dronka trying to make the move there on David Paxa, I should say, into corner 4. Unsuccessful, but he got him for a minute. Now on the inside is Karl Dronka. Does he actually think he can make the pass there? No, he decides to back out of it. So Paxa will maintain 4th for the time being, but Dronka is trying for all he's worth to get that spot. Sorry, Dronka was ahead a moment ago, I should say. So this battle has been going back and forth really the entirety of the last couple laps. But Paxa getting a much better exit out of that last couple set of corners there, so he'll gain some ground, and not a very quick exit for him as well, so maybe Dronka can make that move back. But in the background, don't underestimate Tim Salvatore, who's, had a pretty, eventful race for sure. He got all the way up to 2nd earlier in the race in that battle with Bedrosian, then got taken out. But, he's making the spots up that he needs to. Maybe not as fast as Andrew Bedrosian, who's already within just a couple of tenths of Trevor Anderson for 2nd, trying to get all the way back through the field to go get Logan Paxa. But Trevor's going to have to defend that 2nd spot, and again, making his rookie debut. I could confirm he has never raced against Andrew Bedrosian before, at least not in a league series. So 2 new faces to each other. Neither guy really knows what to expect, but Bedrosian's going to dive to the outside, tries to get a better run after the final corner. Very long straightaway here, so Anderson's going to have to defend the inside pretty hard if he wants to make something happen. There's the classic tree that we always love from these broadcasts, but got out of the way pretty quick. So up the hill here, Bedrosian should have the draft, but he's actually not making up a ton of ground to Anderson here on the straightaway. So on the back there, Paxa just way down the road. He's off to a great start here, but again, 7 seconds could be easy to make up here at Road America. Bedrosian all the way to the inside. Anderson just gets a little bit too wide, so he'll give up the 2nd spot, but things may not be over yet. Coming down the hill here into turn number 2. He's got the whole straightaway to play with here if he wants to make that move back. Dronka right on the back of Paxa as well. Got to keep an eye on that battle. No, looks like no positions are going to be gained here as we come into turn 2. Looks like everybody's still going to stay in the spots where they were. Tim Salvatore still making up ground to those 2 guys ahead, so still plenty of time for something to happen, but we're going to go up to this battle for 2nd. Anderson's going to look to the outside. He'll have a better entry into the corner. Remember that great braking point he had earlier where he made the move on, I think that was Rich Foligno, but no, Bedrosian nails the corner perfectly. Great apex by the 5 car, so he'll maintain the second spot for the time being, and Trevor Anderson looks like he'll have to dip back a little bit. That's Jack Hillier there on the inside, trying to get back up to speed, still starting to get to grips with the car and the track, but no, it's good that he's got out of the way of the leaders, so there we go. Hopefully he'll rejoin in just a moment, but got to keep an eye now on that battle for fourth still. Dronka may look to the inside this time into corner number 8. No, decides against it. Decides to wait just a little bit longer. So Pax is going to wash out a little bit. Gets into that dirty part of the right off the track surface. Salvatore and Dronka will go by. Got a little bit too far into the curb there for just a moment, but then fully dropped into the dirt and grass. So he'll lose the spot there and drop entirely out of the top 5. Carl Dronka will make the move there for 4th, and with the momentum he showed all race, I think Tim Salvatore is not far behind, maybe making the move on the 38 car. So great race from that 3-driver tandem of Carl Dronka, Tim Salvatore, and David Paxa. They've really had some great racing all season. You remember from the very beginning of that last race, Carl Dronka making some forward progress. I believe there was very briefly a battle between these 3 guys, but now we're getting to see a more proper, drawn-out version, and I'm sure once David Paxa gets all the dirt off his tires, he'll be right back in this battle to compete for the 4th and 5th spot there. But back in the field, Marshall Crocker Sr. there, keeping the 7th spot for now, still in the top half of the field, just like he was in the first race. So keeping consistent here. No visual damage on the car, running pretty good lap times by the looks of it. So smooth sailing for the 15 car at the moment, it would appear. Caleb Campbell there in the 11, quite a ways back, in the 13 car, I should say. But again, still in the lead lap, still in competitive track position. Gets into the grass a little bit there on the inside, but nice save by the 13 car. Great job by him to keep the hands moving through the carousel. Again, once you get on the inside grass there, it's one of the toughest saves in all of iRacing. But the 13 car had the awareness to get it going, and got to wonder if the chaos there at the start hadn't happened. Would Caleb Campbell be up there competing for spots as we speak? Manuel Guerra there in the 12th car in the 9th spot. Again, up 5 spots from starting at the very tail of the field. So all in all things considered, not a very bad race for Manuel Guerra at all, even if he may be in the 9th position for the time being. Now running at the top 10, Rich Foligno, who's had an absolutely insane race, was as high as 2nd, I think as low as 12th, but he's back on track, no visible damage as well, and he's on the lead lap, which is, I mean, at the very minimum, if we get another caution, puts him right back in contention for the win. So good to see that he's still has the possibility of competing for positions if that does happen to happen. Same case with Woody Mahan as well in the 84 car. Quite a ways back of any other driver on track, but again, it's a long race. Still plenty can happen, and well, you saw the pace he had earlier in the race. I'd imagine that it's not out of the equation that he were to find a way to come back up to get a 2nd podium of the year if certain events happen in certain ways. Now running out this kind of run through the field here. John Guerra there will round out the drivers that are still on the lead lap there in the number 11 car. Haven't really seen much of John this race, but he appears to be running pretty smooth lap times, and at this point, it's kind of all you can ask at a track as tough as Road America is just stay on track and don't crash, which I know looks very easy to the naked eye at home, but again, tracks as tough as this on iRacing, it's tough to make that connection in every corner and get things consistent over such a long period of time, especially with such long laps. But back to the real battles on track. Tim Salvatore in the 91 has made the move there on the 38 of Carl Dronka. So as we come through the final corner, I believe we were on lap number 12. So just past the 1/3 mark of the race. Of course, took a little bit longer there with cautions, but great sportsmanship there by Tanner Digner. Just going to move aside, let the leaders go by, and no damage there for his car. So good to see from Tanner Digner. I'd always like to see guys being polite and being sportsmanlike there. So he'll let him by. The 38 is still in the draft in the 91, but I think Salvatore's just far enough ahead that he should be able to maintain that spot. A little ways back, David Paxa again, still in contention, but not quite, I think, in the draft there on Dronka. Right in the background as I was talking about him. Tanner Digner, huge contact with the outside wall. Just washes out in the corner. He had trouble with a little while ago. Where is he on track? The Marshall Crocker Sr. there in the 15 car coming up towards him. Hopefully these two don't get together. Nope, the 15 car will just head on by, and we'll keep it clean for the time being. But Digner, it looks like he's got his steering kind of off balance there, but he might be able to make it back to the pits. So let's hope, as the last thing you want to see is a guy heading out before their time is due. Tim Salvatore manages to keep the spot there on Carl Dronka through corner 4. Wasn't sure if maybe he'd be able to make the pass there, but well, we're going to take a quick break because it's been a little while and desperately needs to drink some water with how much chaos we've seen on track and just how much I've had to call. But well, Salvatore and Dronka is your closest battle on track for the time being. We're going to go picture in picture. That way you can keep the race footage in the background, see the live timing tower. But I will be back in just a moment with more of the usual commentary. Well, the battle continues between the 91 and the 38 car here for this very competitive fourth place spot throughout the entire race. We've seen some great competition for this area of the race order. So Dronka's going to head to the outside there. At least I thought he would for a minute, but didn't quite have the run to do so. So coming through turn number 11 here, both guys still fighting desperately for this spot, but it would appear that neither has a drastic pace advantage to the other, seeing as really neither guy's been able to break away when they've had the lead. Of course, Dronka was ahead of Salvatore for a while, but Salvatore was able to catch up to him. But now that he's finally got by, Salvatore's not exactly running away with it. Gets a little bit wide in the final corner as well, so this could be Carl Dronka's opportunity to make the move. Let's see as we come up the hill. The 38 right on the back of the 91. The 91's going to defend to the inside. Looks like the outside is the preferred line for Carl Dronka this time, but Salvatore's going to slot back in again. Just didn't quite have the run he needed to make the move there. So the 91 car, as we come into turn 1, just going to blip out momentarily for a second, but gets back on track. It's a little bit wide. Again, guys touching the fine line there with the outside dirt in corners 1 and what was the other corner guys are having some trouble with it in? I think corner 5. The corner number 8. The last corner before the carousel. Some guys are having trouble there. Looks like both guys are going to have to head by the lap car of John Guerra, but he'll do a good job to get off the preferred racing line, get out of the way, and both drivers will just head right by, so the battle for fourth will continue. Going to head down the hill here into corner 4. Again, Dronka right on the back end of the 91, but Salvatore with some great defense, just putting the car exactly where he needs to hold the spot for the time being, and really that's all you got to do is the car being chased is just, if you know you don't really have anybody up ahead to catch up to, you can just kind of focus on your battle. And I mean, seeing how quick Trevor wasn't qualifying, maybe Salvatore's going, okay, well, maybe it's not realistic to say I can make up an entire 10-second gap in this period of time, but Salvatore, that corner I was talking about where you wash out into the dirt, it's going to bite him here as Dronka's going to go all the way around. Who was that on the outside? That was Trevor Anderson right as I talk about him, so this battle now becomes for third. Carl Dronka is now the final car on the top 3. What happened to Anderson? Missing his entire front wing as the 25 car. Before we go up to continue that battle for third, what happened to Trevor there? So coming through turn 8, this dirt patch I've talked a lot about throughout the race, doesn't have any trouble with that, just loses the back end a little bit. Oh, the car overcorrects. Again, I talked about it, just how tough it is to gather this car up when you lose the back end with it. And Trevor Anderson, what a first race he's been having. Great debut in the series, but just loses the back end, tries his very best to make it around. Went 3 wide there very briefly as Dronka passed Salvatore. So, well, this was at the time Dronka's finally started to make up some ground there on Salvatore, but Tim's going to have a great run coming up the start-finish line hill. So Dronka may need to defend here. Doesn't look like for the time being he'll have to worry about it, but where is Anderson on the track? Anderson's actually still making his way around. I know he's probably missing his entire front wing. He is indeed, so very little downforce, but he's making his way back to the pits. Marshall Crocker Sr. will jump up a spot as well as David Paxa. So Paxa back in the top 5. He had a top 5 in the very first race of the season, and look at repeat that feat tonight. So Marshall Crocker Sr. in 6th after that. In 7th, Trevor Anderson finally is able to make it back to the pits. Can use his quick repair and get things all fixed up there. So hopefully he's able to make it in pretty quick. And I mean, he can now take his field stop here as well, so he's going to lose quite a bit of time to the guys ahead. But if you think about it, this was kind of a mandatory pit stop for him anyways. I'd imagine we will see pit cycles starting relatively soon once guys realize that it's probably optimal to have fuel at a certain point in the race. And Tanner Dignard, I can now officially say, has left tonight's action. So it's a shame to see. The 55 car had such a great start to the race tonight, and same as he did at Roval. I hope it's not a similar internet issue that he had before, but well, it's been a great start to the season for him, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do at Texas in a couple weeks and going forward, because, well, the kid's got a lot of potential. I'll say that much. But Anderson will get the damage repaired that he needs to, and we can now head back to the continuing battle for third between Dronka and Salvatore. I mean, I kind of worried after Roval that with how long that race went and how difficult that track was, that we may see a relatively uncompetitive race tonight with an even more difficult track. But man, guys are just battling all throughout the field. It's been a great broadcast so far, at least as far as race content, and I hope you guys all feel the same. But coming up once again to turn number 11, we've seen plenty of moves made here, including the move where Salvatore and Bedrosian got together at the very start of the race that caused Bedrosian to go around. Speaking of going around, Dronka just gets a little bit too wide on the curb, catches the dirt, puts it in the wall. Massive tire damage. He's gonna have to find a way to get back on track, let Paxa by for the time being. So David Paxa will move up to 4th once again, but it's a shame for Dronka. He's gonna pull it behind the wall. He will actually manage to make it back on track, but no, looks like he's beached. Man, what a shame to see. We're gonna have to go to a replay for that as well, but man, this tough Road America track. I mean, I know Carl coming into tonight was on very little practice. Not as a fault of his own, just didn't have the time. But well, it was impressive just how much time he was able to keep to the other guys with how little practice he had. But man, the back end on these cars can just be so fickle sometimes. And yeah, it was on full display there. That just looked like a race car that would not cooperate. So it's a shame to see that he's now at tonight's event. But that means a couple more guys will gain spots here. Marshall Crocker Sr. moving to the top 5 for the first time this season, or at least this far into a race. So well, he's a little ways back of David Paxton in front for 4th, but that means that effectively the drivers all throughout the field have kind of split up as much as they probably will throughout the race now. Felino just passed Campbell somewhere on track, but can't really tell where. So Caleb Campbell, where is Caleb Campbell? Oh, he's still on track, so not exactly sure what happened there, but Woody Mahan will make the pass on him as well, just as he gets passed by Logan Paxa, who is starting to lap more and more of the field as time goes on. But speaking of Logan Paxa, I feel bad that we've, in the first 2 races of the season, kind of talked very little about your race leader in both, but I mean, effectively, there's not really much to talk about. He was your leader at the start of both restarts. Just great timing on the jump from him for both of them. So not really much he's had to worry about. We can look at his lap times as compared to Petrosian's, and actually Andrew's gotten a little bit quicker those last couple laps. He's starting to make up time to Logan. And I know whatever happened on lap 14, Logan ran a great lap, but Petrosian must have either had trouble with the lap car or made a little bit of a mistake, because he dropped off about 1.5 seconds, which is not what you need when you're trying to catch up to a car as quick as Logan Paxa is in front of you. But as you can see, every other lap he's gaining time, and Logan runs about 4/10 slower than he did on his previous last couple laps here. So let's see if Andrew is able to, 7/10 up on Paxa. Great lap by Petrosian. Runs a 2:02 flat this late in the race. It is on between these top 2 drivers again. This race is by no means over here, just as we get to about halfway. Who was that on the outside? That's Carl Dronka on cold tires, getting back up to speed. Let's just go to him very quickly. But again, I've talked about it separately throughout the season, but man, these cold tires and these Indy Pro cars, they're such tough cars to drive, but they're so much fun and so rewarding if you can get them right. So he'll be back on track. It looks like he didn't lose too much time, but just got to get a little bit more careful with the tires there, as being as cold as they are. There you go, manages to get it woed up in a very tricky turn 4. So the most difficult part of the track now on cold tires is now out of the way. So he can move forward, and continue to work his way through the field now that he's still in 9th, still in a top 10 spot even after his incident just a moment ago. So let's see if he can make up some more spots. As again, he's not that far behind the guys ahead. There's kind of a big cluster, as you can see on the track map there, in this certain section of the track. So let's keep an eye on that for sure. Again, throughout the field, everybody's kind of split up a little bit. No, not any particular driver that is particularly close to another. So we got a little bit of time here before we can see any more action. So, sorry, just checking the chat for the first time there in a little while. Sorry, Tanner, to hear that you were unable to finish tonight's race. I know that you had a great start tonight, man. It was a great qualifying to see. It was great to see that you kept the momentum up from last week. But yeah, it's a tough track. Road America is one of the tough ones to learn, especially being new to the car, let alone the track itself. So. Sorry to hear that, man. It's a shame, but I know you'll be back out in a couple weeks at Texas, and more of a traditional oval. It's more about passing and less about focusing on the race line. Less to learn, because a bit more simple of a track. So I can't wait to see what you do there, man. Hopefully you're back in a couple weeks, and it's been a pleasure to have you. The first 2 races, I should say. Looks like Rich Felino will go a lap down as well to Logan Paxa. So now only 6 cars left on the lead lap. There is the 99 of Felino, running the Genesis car, run by James Hinchcliffe in the Real Life IndyCar Series. So, of course, fellow Canadian, for those of you not familiar with IndyCar. Woody Mahan there in the 84, a little ways behind. Might actually make the move on Felino just momentarily if he's able to maybe make up a couple more seconds on this lap. Of course, this spot in the field where they are is pretty competitive for points, about 2 points separating each spot. So, well, that's not a ton in the grand scheme of things with the championship, with how close I think the midfield's going to be this year. That could be absolutely huge points later in the season. So those are the ones that, looking back, you're going to want if you didn't get them. And got to think that Mahan will want those 2 points if possible. It's been quick so far all race, so maybe we can compare the lap times in just a moment. But I know Rich did have to let Logan by this time, so that will negatively impact his laps and kind of skew the results. But there's Andrew Bedrosian, who, as he attempts to track down Logan as he has been the last little while. He's already made up a full second in the probably 2 or 3 laps since I talked about them last, but now he's got some lap cars in his way to make his way through. And again, 5 seconds for how quick he's making up time. Not a lot of time, but man, with lap traffic and just how tough this track can be, that feels like an eternity as a driver. I can tell you as somebody who ran the test race, this is kind of a different beast of a track for sure, even though it may look all mild-mannered and very pretty with very nice trees everywhere. It's a tough track, and the fact that these guys are making the racing as competitive as they have really speaks to the talent of really all the guys in this series. So it's a pleasure to be able to broadcast and be able to, of course not take credit, but to be able to kind of stake claim to this many good drivers and as competitive as a series as I'm hoping to put together this season. So great to see that we've got this many good drivers, and again, some more guys that haven't been able to show up yet that are slated to. I know Renee Hart, who those of you who watched Karts Computer Season 1 will be familiar with, a race winner in that former series. He should be back in the next couple weeks. I know he's running part-time this season, but just hasn't been able to make it out yet. Hopefully he'll be there at Texas. But Justin Lulick, again, former race winner of the previous series. Right as we see Bedrosian about to lap Mahan. At least I think he's about to, but Mahan trying to keep it up as best as he can. Is he going to let him by? I think he probably will. He's probably just giving Andrew the slipstream, and that way Mahan can stay at full speed, and Bedrosian can make a pass that kind of better suits his needs, that being trying to catch up to Logan Paxa. But yeah, Justin Lulick, a former race winner. Max Preston, also a former race winner. There were tons of race winners from that old Karts Computer Series season, but all of them winning in different ways. But all of them should be back in the next, hopefully, couple of weeks. Maybe making their debut at Texas, which I think is going to be a great race, and that's coming up in not too long. Marshall Crocker has gone to the pit lane. Marshall Crocker Sr., who is holding a top 5 spot at the moment, but no damage on his car. Doesn't look like he's had an incident. Just coming in for his fuel stop. So that should give a good idea to those racing. That being that even if you stopped earlier in the race on that very first caution stop, which I think my dad did, you're not going to have enough fuel to the finish from that point, even if you pitted back then. So that does mean we'll see pit stops for fuel from really all the leaders there, whether it be Paxa, Bedrosian, Salvatore, or the other Paxa. So plenty of time left, and plenty of pit stops left to go. And I know with fuel cycles, those can be absolutely nuts. Pit cycles can be great for some drivers. It's kind of their skill set, and some guys can struggle with them. So we'll see where the time cycles out once those guys come in for their pit stops. But for the time being, the 15 car will exit the pits, and we'll keep a spot ahead of Anderson in the 25 car in the background. So, well, Andrew continues to make up ground a little bit further up in the field as we see, but he's now got to make his way past Rich Foligno there in the number 99 car, the other lapped car on track. Looks like he will this time. Yep, Foligno's just going to dip to the inside as we come out of the final corner. Bedrosian will take that spot, and what has just happened between the 5th and 6th place cars here, the 25 and the 15, right as I was talking about that Anderson was making his way up towards Marshall Crocker Sr. in the 15. Senior on cold tires just gets a little bit loose there in corner 2. Did Anderson manage to avoid? He did. Great reflexes there by the 25 car. Makes his way all the way around, gets back on track, and the 15 car, does manage to save it. So both guys will drive off with very little to no damage. But, well, Trevor Anderson will lose a little bit of time there, but he's back in the top 5, which is good to see after just how chaotic of a race he's had, making his debut tonight. It's good to see that he's had as much success as he's had, and I really like the Anaheim Ducks livery he's running tonight as well. So many reasons from my perspective to like Trevor Anderson. But David Pax is not showing up as on. Oh, this is a replay. There we go. That makes more sense. I was going to say he's not showing up as on track, but that's because he's in the pits. So right as I was talking about how we're likely going to see some pit stop cycles going through in just a moment. Well, it looks like I was a bit of a prophet there as we check the pit stop camera. Oh, that's not a... There we go. So as you see, coming up the pit hill here at the end of the straightaway, there is David Paxa pulling into his box. That is John Guerra parked in his pit stall with his car being damaged. I'd imagine probably waiting for his tow back to pit road. So Paxa will pit now. Are Anderson and Crocker going to have the... No, nowhere close. I was about to say they're going to have the speed to make up the time to Paxa if he pits now, but no, still quite a ways behind. The time does look skewed for sure. Trevor Anderson is by no means a minute back of Paxa, so a little bit unrealistic there. As you see, he is the 5 on the track map is Trevor Anderson, and Crocker is the 6. So, well, with that being said, we're going to go to another quick break here, as it's been a little while since the last one, but hopefully you're all having a great night here at the Snowstorm Open Wheel Racing Series second round at Road America. It's been great racing action the entire race so far, and I know it's cooled off momentarily, but Logan Paxa, right as I was about to go to a break, Logan Paxa, your race leader, is going to make the quick dive down into the right-hander down to pit road there. So he will head in here. Looked like he was pretty late on the brakes getting in, so could have a penalty, but more than likely just a really good pit stop as again, one thing we've learned from all these races is Logan very rarely makes mistakes, and I'd imagine this is no different of a situation. So Andrew Bedrosian, after the very, very trivial, or sorry, not trivial, very chaotic and at times unfortunate race he's had, well, he's made his way all the way back up to the #1 spot, and well, he was provisionally second there a moment ago, but maybe he can try to pull the overcut and try to run some good laps here, then pit and see if he can make up some lap time to Logan Paxa. At least this way he can avoid lap traffic and try to come out closer to the 16 car than he did originally, but Logan will now exit the pits, being passed by Tim Salvatore, who has yet to pit. So effectively, Logan still remains your race leader, but again, if Andrew's able to run some good lap times, he could make up the time he needs to become your new race leader once again. But maybe we're going to go on board with Andrew Bedrosian for just a moment as he continues to try to run quick laps and maybe execute that overcut to perfection, as I'm sure he would like to. So thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. We're going to go on board with Andrew for just a couple of minutes, and we'll be back in just a moment. Well, while I was gone, it would appear that our former race leader now, Andrew Bedrosian, did come into the pit lane, and as you may have seen if you were paying close attention to the footage, he did kind of slide through his pit box attempting to pit there as well, so I'm going to lose a couple of seconds there as a result, and well, whatever overcut attempts he may have been going for will unfortunately not work as a result, but you saw just how quick he was running in that certain section of the race there where he was making up about a second to Logan every lap. This thing is by no means over, even if he does drop back to about 8 or 9 seconds back to Logan after the pit cycle out. But Carl Dronka just made the move on Rich Polino there, the two orange number 38 and 99 respectively cars. Looks like Dronka will make the move back up to 8, so Carl and Rich both sitting where they started at the very beginning of the race now on track. Yeah, Rich is he's been running quick throughout the race so far, at least compared to what his position would suggest, but unfortunately Carl is when he gets his laps going and he's able to avoid little mistakes like hopping in the dirt as he did a little bit earlier. He's really quick, and that's one thing I've always thought about him, and no matter what series I've raced against him in, because Carl is one of the few guys in the series that I've actually raced against personally in my own racing background. So he's a guy that I know is very quick, and he's a Skip Barber Pro, but interesting to see how his skills are transferring over to Indy Pro, and well, in the case of where he's sitting right now, that being very impressively. So Rich in the 99 is maybe going to think about a move this time into 4, but just a little bit too far back to make that work. So the 38 will hold the spot for the time being, and great race so far for both of these two gentlemen. As I know they've had a lot of maybe not a lot of troubles, but there's just been a lot of chaos happening with and around them. So, as has been the case for many guys tonight. So, lots going on, but they've been able to make it through into a decent point spot for the time being. But Woody Mahan isn't too far up the road either. So once this battle finishes up, maybe Carl can see if he can go track him down. But of course, Woody was in second for a very long period of this race and started in fifth. Great qualifying spot for him. So Woody's got some flat out pace and he's working his way up slowly but surely throughout the race. Marshall Crocker in the 15 just looked in the background, saw him, I thought, missing a tire, and something has indeed happened to the 15 car. So must have been a while ago as well. So the 15 car coming through the carousel that last time by. There's Caleb Campbell in the 13 car. Let's see what happened to the driver that was sitting sixth for the time being. Just, unfortunate place at the wrong time. Man, Caleb just going around a little bit. Lost the back end through the carousel, a very tough corner, and really nowhere for the 15 car to go. Just terrible luck for him. Full on body slams the number 13 car, and man, again, just horrible timing there. It's a shame to see, and what a great race of the 15 car up to that point. Again, with all the chaos happening around him, he was one of the only consistent drivers left. And again, racing is one of those sports. Sometimes the luck won't always go your way, but it feels like Marshall Crocker Sr. might have has more bad luck in this series than he does good historically. So it's a shame to see, but it'll bump Woody Mahan, Carl Dronka, Rich Foligno, and now Manuel Guerra up a position. So he will remain in the top 10, and I don't know if John Guerra has returned to the track. So, well, maybe John will be able to work his way into the top 10 as well, depending on how long the pit service for Marshall Crocker Sr. takes. But back up to the lead here, Tim Salvatore, who was at least provisionally your leader for the time being, is now going to have to come into the pits and get his hopefully final pit stop of the race here, just getting some fuel. And being the last driver to pit means he can take the least fuel and in theory have the shortest stop. But well, the only two guys he was really battling for position with there, those being Logan Paxton and Andrew Bedrosian, have already gone by. So, well, Tim's got about 10 more laps to go, that being about maybe 20 minutes. But well, he's well clear of David Paxa behind there in the number 4 car. If you look in the track map, the 4 of David Paxa is the silver little marker you see on the right side of the track map. And bottom left there is Tim Salvatore exiting the pits in that green number 3 on the map. So Tim's pretty comfortably in third there. He's just going to hopefully try to keep it pretty clean here. And after a race last week at Roval where he came so very close to the podium there before an unfortunate spin meant that Woody Mahan would take that spot off his hands, well, this may be his redemption race for Tim Salvatore, and though he, again, probably won't be able to compete for those front 2 spots, he's warming his tires up, and as long as he can keep it clean, should be able to come away with his first podium of the season. And it'll be a pleasure to talk to Tim Salvatore, another rookie of the series, because, well, to this point, I have not so far. So, again, great work by Tim tonight, making his presence known again, and as he has all season, and he was really quick in our test race here as well. So there is a precedent for him to be quick at Road America, and he's one of those guys that I've only, of course, seen at road courses, being a series rookie, that I haven't raced against in the past, but really curious to see what he'll do in the ovals. The ovals, I think, starting out with Texas in just a couple of weeks, I think will really shake things up, and I think round 3 will be kind of the chaos one. We have one of those races in every season of a series I put together. We had Nürburgring Nordschleife in season 2 of the Carts to Computer series, which is just a total mess of a race. It really wasn't a competitive race in the traditional sense. It was more so just trying to survive. It was a war of attrition, and it was a fun time, but it was not a traditional race. And I think the ovals in this series in an open wheel car are really going to be where that comes back, and anybody really can compete to win. So if there's any race I think you should tune in for, it's one of those, because they're just going to be a whole new dynamic, and I'm really excited to see what kind of action we get going there for round 3. But David Pax is a guy we haven't talked about in a little while, sitting behind Tim Salvatore in the 4th spot as he comes through the carousel that last time by. Now for lap 25, we're going to be 10 to go. Next time, that is Logan currently, the race leader in the 16 car. Next time he crosses the line, we will have 10 to go. But yeah, I haven't talked too much about David, but mostly because I just haven't had to. I mean, he had that incident at the very beginning of the race, washed through corner number 4 in the very first lap, but since then he's kind of gathered things up, used his quick repair, and got back on track, and he's just been chugging along ever since then. I believe he did finish 5th on the last race previously in the points. Let's just go back and check. Don't have the points up for the time, but yeah, he either finished 4th or 5th, so great first race of the season for him from a points perspective, and he's going to stay consistent. He should be able to repeat it tonight. So David Paxa, great start of the season for the 53 car. I know that Logan Paxa, his son, has kind of been the more traditional favorite in the last couple of seasons to win races, but now that David's made his debut, he's definitely proven his own skill as a driver, and definitely proven that, well, if push comes to shove, he can compete for spots. And I look forward to maybe one day, it's a 15 race season, and it's lots of potential to do so, maybe seeing 2 Paxes on the podium for the first time in series history. It would be be a cool thing to see, and I'm sure as they both have a lot of support in our YouTube chat all the time, I'm sure that would be well received from the fans at home. So, but David Paxa kind of in and out of that 1 minute bubble back from his son Logan Paxa there, so running pretty close lap times to his son, which is good to see. So David staying consistent, and really here at Road America tonight, a track that has proven tougher than most probably would have imagined. That's all you can really ask for at this point. So great night for David, and looking back throughout the rest of the field, no notable battles for position on track. Really, everybody in that 1 lap down range is kind of spread out, and then it's John Garrett 2 laps down, Caleb Campbell 4, and then Jack Hilliard 7 laps down. Still on lap 18 there in the number 6 car, so not doing too bad. I mean, Jack Hilliard, we can go to him very quickly, but Jack Hilliard running in that McLaren livery, which is probably the most striking looking car of any. I really like his number font as well, so great looking car there for Jack Hilliard, and I know he's just kind of getting up to speed here, getting used to the car. I know he's fairly new to the service, or at least this kind of league racing thing. So, just once he can get up to speed, it's a very long season. You always have drop races. So if in this 2-week break he's able to really get his bearings before Texas and maybe make some noise there, there's still plenty of potential for Jack Hilliard to make something happen here in the points for himself this season. And really looking forward to seeing if he does. This is probably the best rookie class we've had in a Karts to Computers season, which is, I guess, technically not a fair point to make, because we've only had one quote-unquote rookie season, that being a season after the original, and I guess Logan Paxa was considered a rookie the year he won the championship in this in the previous series, the Karts to Computers series, which I technically consider the precursor to this. You could technically call this Karts to Computers series round 3 if you'd like, but felt the name didn't fit, so we did a rebrand, and it is of course winter, so hopefully the kind of wintry vibes and wintry aesthetic are appealing to all those at home. But maybe the constant reminder of what season it is, especially when you got to go shovel outside and dig your car out of the snow, maybe it's not the thing everybody wants. So I'll ask the focus groups, that being my girlfriend who designed the logo. Quick shout out to her as well, but she is usually the person I go to for design tips like that. Logan Paxa, again, your race leader with 10 laps to go, going to be 9 this time by. He was losing time to Andrew as he was previous in the race after that last pit stop cycle, but he is going to head by Jack Hilliard in the 6th car. He's going to move out of the way. Thank you, Jack. Just continue his way up the road. Still 7-second gap between him and Bedrosian. We'll check the lap times comparatively this next time by, just to see if Andrew is indeed still making up the ground that he was before. But, well, Logan won the first race of the season, so there's definitely precedent that he would be able to do it again. And for the time being, it looks like the odds are in his favor, especially at this lap. Andrew hasn't seemed to exactly charge towards him. We can go check on Andrew, maybe see if he's dealing with lap traffic or something of the sort. But no, just kind of running on his own. But I mean, talking about how quick Logan Paxa is, now that they finally come across, we can check the lap times. But I mean, knowing how quick Logan Paxa is, it's perhaps not the most fair comparison between two drivers to be like, oh, one is definitively better than the other, because honestly, when it comes to Andrew Bedrosian and Logan Paxa, I think they're just two sides of the same driver. I mean, Andrew has kind of proven himself to be the more aggressive, maybe Michael Schumacher style driver of the two, where he's going for every position counts. He's probably the guy that if you had 2 laps left in a race and you wanted a guy to go from 10th to the win, well, Andrew's probably the guy you'd like to do it. But if you just want consistency, if you just want, fast laps every single race, a guy that can come to any track and compete, a guy that has proven his ability on really any matter of tracks, which I guess applies to Bedrosian as well. But Logan's the more cool-headed, I think, more analytical of the two drivers, more of a Lewis Hamilton style that way. So the argument being made between F1 fans is always between Hamilton and Schumacher for the best driver. And, well, you could probably argue in this series the very same thing goes as well as Paxa and Bedrosian, as they've proven the last 2 races. I mean, I of course don't want to jinx anything, especially if they get into a battle. All gloves are off. But, well, yeah, I would generally consider them the 2 quickest guys. And whether it be because they have the most time, they're just the most purely talented on iRacing, I don't know. But whatever it may be, they are very quick, and I think, yeah, they're just kind of 2 sides of the same driver. They both bring a very interesting dynamic to the series, and well, for the last 2 seasons that they've both been in, whether it be Karts to Computers Season 2 or the Snowstorm series this season so far, they just bring a lot to the broadcast, and I'm really happy that I have them, because they often provide some of the most entertainment of anybody in the field. Gonna look back to Woody Mahan now, who appears to have about a 3-second gap there on Carl Dronco. You'll see in the background, well, just very briefly there, but Carl is continuing to make up ground there towards the number 84 car, but again, Woody just kind of kept his head in it, and I think he was 10th at the very start of this green flag run, all the way back, I think, lap, 10 or 12, after a couple of early incidents after our caution period. But since then, he's just gotten spot after spot as guys continue to have little issues, and Well, it's been a great race for him so far, adding on to his third-place points from last race. Those 6 points he'll gain tonight, maybe even get a bonus point for something if he's able to get the fastest lap, which we'll check in a moment. But overall, just can't complain with the performance he's had if you're Woody Mahan, and I know with how much chaos there's been and with how much pace he showed early in the race that maybe you'd want more for the 84 car, but I don't know. I think sometimes you just got to take what you're given, and tonight maybe somewhere in this range was all that was available to Woody with how much chaos happened around him and how much he was kind of caught in throughout the race. So great start of the season for him, whether it be the old Karts to Computers races where he ran the Indy cars, almost won our All-Star race in that season, and now coming over here and being just as quick and a very similar but very different car in a lot of ways. It's great to see that he's adapted so quick, and man, the 84 is holding his own this season, and I'm really looking forward. He's one of those guys that I know hasn't officially won a race in this series before, though we came a corner away from doing it last season at our Charlotte Roval race in the previous series there, the Karts Computer Series Season 2. So he's come close, but I think if I had to pick one driver besides maybe Tim Salvatore that I think will get their first win in League Series history this year, of course Woody's at separate iRacing leagues he's been a part of, but the first league I've put together, I think Woody's got his first win coming sooner rather than later. I'll say that much. So, well, we're going to be... Oh, he's going to come into the pits this time, speaking of which. Presumably for fuel, but Mahan will give up the spot to Dronka just like that. So Carl Dronka, another guy who's had a very chaotic race, will take that 6th place spot, and I think Rich Foligno's far back enough that, yeah, he's pretty early into the lap. I'm trying to remember where he is on track. So Rich Foligno's coming through that very long backstretch portion of the track, so he's way off, and Woody Mahan will be able to hop back on track. He'll lose one spot, but he'll maintain 7th for the time being. So great race here for Carl Dronka, who we'll talk about in just a moment. But just a quick reminder before we head to the final break of the race, as Logan Paxa just crosses this time for, I believe, 7 to go. But I know I reference the Karts to Computers old races all the time, and though I know they could often tend to be very long broadcasts, and they would be quite the experience to go back and watch in their entirety. But if you're ever curious to see where some of these drivers have come from, and maybe this is the first time you've ever watched an organized race for guys like Logan Paxa, Andrew Bedrosian, Woody Mahan, Rich Foligno for sure, he's been in every race. Same with Marshall Crocker Sr. Either of the Garras. If you want to go see some of their old content in this series, well, just go to this channel, which is of course named after this series now, but used to be the old Karts to Computers channel. Go to playlists, and you have every single race available at your fingertips of old broadcasts in the previous Karts to Computers series that kind of predated this one. So if you're interested, feel free to go check those out. They're always available for you. Logan Paxa, again, will remain your race leader. Andrew Bedrosian really not making up too much time anymore at this point in the race, but still keep an eye on it, because 7 laps, 7 seconds. Andrew was making up a second lap before. This series is never really over till it's over, and if anything's been proven all season, it is that. But let's maybe go on board with Trevor Anderson for the time being. We're going to head to a picture-in-picture once again for the final break of the race, but something a little different. We haven't got on board with Trevor Anderson, and the rookie's making his debut tonight. He's had a great performance, and he's trying to track down David Paxa for that number 4 spot. So we'll go on board with him for a little bit for the final break of tonight's race. And we're back, ladies and gents, for the, of course, the second round of the Snowstorm Open Wheel Racing Series season here at Road America. We're getting towards the end of the race now, about 5 laps to go. Once I believe Logan Pax will cross the line momentarily, coming through the last couple of corners here on the lap. So 5 to go in just a moment, meaning about 10 minutes left in the race, I should say. So we're getting towards the end, but again, 7-second gap between Pax and Bedrosian. Still plenty of time for anything to happen. Salvatore, of course, not too far back as well, but yeah, lots of time for something to go wrong here for any of these guys. But of course, never the thing you want to wish upon anybody is, at this point, I think everybody's really deserved the spots they're at. And of course, every driver always wants to go for more, but I feel like everybody tonight has just been really impressively put together. I mean, tonight we've had races in the past that I've kind of composed that maybe weren't the cleanest, maybe weren't the most proper exhibitions of driver skill, but tonight really in a lot of ways felt like an actual IndyCar race you'd watch here at Road America in the real series. It's kind of a pleasure to think about. This is probably the most talented group of guys I've ever put together in one race, whether it be broadcasted or just raced against. So, man, there's just a lot of talent in this series, and the longer I think about it, the more I get excited about just how many guys in the series can compete for wins, even though, of course, Pax and Bedrosian like to finish top 2 both the first couple races of the season. But once we get later in the year and guys get more and more time to practice through the holidays and beyond and into the winter, I think we could have some really great late season racing here with some really competitive races and some guys that you maybe wouldn't expect picking up wins towards the end of the year. So again, thank you as always for watching, and I know that tonight's action again has kind of cooled off as towards the end of the race it often does, but that's kind of crunch time for a lot of guys as you just keep running the laps you can. We've got very little time left to go, but the closer the finish line gets, maybe the more you start to push and the more at risk you are of making mistakes. So again, though it may not seem like the most entertaining aspect of the race, well, this is kind of the most interesting part from a driver's perspective, is to see, okay, do you guys kind of get off the gas pedal? Well, not literally, of course, but do they start to kind of ease off in terms of just how hard they're pushing, or do they continue to go full bore? And well, we're going to look at the lap time comparison between our top 2 drivers here. So Logan ran his slowest lap he has in a little while that last time by there on lap 30, and Andrew capitalized, getting 3/10, but the lap before, Logan gained 6/10. So really, it's the jury is out at the moment as to which driver is exactly quicker in terms of race pace at this point. Of course, that 6.8 second gap built up as a result of all the chaos Bedrosian had to deal with at the beginning of the race. But I mean, if you had to kind of crown a driver of the day that F1 often does, well, I would say that definite contender for that would be Andrew Bedrosian. We'll go to him in just a moment. But Andrew, I mean, talking about coming back from 10th on that caution, so far back in the field and so much ground ahead of him to work with. But even with no caution since then, he's made up to 8 spots on track, all the way up to 2nd. And, I mean, now he's 1 behind Logan for the race lead, and he's starting to make up time once again. Maybe took about 3/10 there off that last couple of corners, but only 4 laps to go. There's not a ton of time left for the number 5 American car, but he's got all the time he needs if he can just put together those laps he was running in practice and qualifying. So this thing is not yet over, but if I'm Andrew and I can see Logan in my sights, the one thing in the back of my head is trying to remind me is, okay, well, you're in 2nd, and the total season championship points, I called him captain consistency a lot last season and previous year, and if he wants to prove that, then it's in his best interest to try to keep it clean tonight, and as well as being as quick as possible. So he's still gaining tenths, though. He's got about 7/10 on this lap alone, and again, 6 seconds and 4 laps. It's a big ask, especially trying to chase down Logan Paxa, but I mean, he might be doing it. He's, of course, a little bit slower that lap. Sorry, that's Salvatore that we're comparing against. Actually, interesting to see that Tim Salvatore was quicker on lap number 29. Great laps for the 91 car that he's been running. But we'll go to him in a moment. But for now, yeah, Andrew's got some time if he can just kind of settle down, figure things out, and just run the absolute quickest laps he can possibly put down. Because on his tires, if he did pit for new tires in that last pit stop, which I don't think you absolutely have to, but I would imagine he probably did just to get some new rubber towards the end of the run. If he does have different rubber, or in fact newer rubber than Logan does at this point, well, he's got some time to make up the pace that he needs, especially if he can run his 2:01 that he ran in practice before the race. But I don't know, man. I'm confident in everybody, and I'm confident in their abilities, but I think Andrew's going to have to do a little bit better than is possible, or at least that he has shown so far if he wants to make that time up. So Logan, in a lot of ways, just kind of got the better situation there, starting on pole, and that's, in a lot of ways, the biggest advantage is just you can avoid all the chaos behind you. As plenty of chaos to start the race. Of course, that guy's going off the track left and right early in the race, but well, after that, it was the caution that kind of bunched everybody up and made things even more interesting. And since then, it's been been the all Logan Paxa show, but Bedrosian's done his best to make up some time. I know he's going to regret that pit mistake he made that we saw a little ways back there that lost him probably a full second or two, but got to wonder if he was within slipstream range, would we have a great battle for the lead that maybe would result in Bedrosian getting his first win of the season, and that way they could kind of swap where one gets pole, the other gets the win, and swap it from last week. But well, now for the first time in a little while, we do have a battle for position in the top 5. This is Trevor Anderson and David Paxa. David Paxa running in 4th, the best finish of the season for him if he's able to keep this going. But Trevor Anderson making his debut tonight, the rookie in the 25 car, who hasn't looked like a rookie in the slightest. Really, really quick in qualifying. Remember, he qualified 3rd in one of the best qualifying performances I'd imagine we'll probably see this season, especially on such short notice. So, well, the 25 is making it work tonight, and he's closing down on Paxa, but not too much time left to go. Of course, less than 3 laps, probably about half a lap added to 2, so 2.5 laps left to go. So Paxa, not a ton of time that he needs to hold off Anderson, but you got to think again, Trevor Anderson making his debut tonight. He wants to get every position he possibly can to make up the ground he needs to make up in the points after missing round 1. So I would anticipate that Trevor is going to put together an absolute flyer this time, and with only 3 to go this next time they cross the line, or sorry, 2 times next time they cross the line that they finally have. I think this could get very interesting. We'll throw the track map back up there. We'll take it down for just a moment, but yeah, oh, Trevor's making a big ground through this last couple of corners. Through turns 1 and 2, made up sizable amounts of time there. I'd imagine probably half to a full second. Now he's in the slipstream and he's a little bit too far back to make a convincing move happen, but well, he's within striking range. So into corner 4, we may be able to see a pass. The 25 car, you look in the timing tower there. They're unfortunately not close enough to Logan Paxa to register a real time, but we will put up the battle box, see if that'll maybe give us a little bit better insight. It will. So 3/10 down is Anderson on Paxa at the moment. Going to come through corner number 6 now. Corvette corner up the hill. Both drivers making it through clean. That's a very tough one to be in the draft of another driver on. So props to Anderson for having the brake control skills to make it through there. But the 25 not too far back from the 53 now. But David actually ran a little bit quicker in that middle sector. So Trevor's doing his best to make up time. Both guys make it through clean there. But now only 2 laps to go as Logan crossed the line just a moment ago. So Bedrosian's starting to back off of him as well. It looks like Logan's all but got the win in his bag if he can just finish off the last couple of corners here. 28 more to go to be exact. But well, Trevor lost some ground there, but now is the longest straightaway of the track. This right-hand kink technically included as part of the straightaway, so Anderson is going to make up some ground. I think he'll get enough ground to get close for the last couple of corners. Don't think he'll make the move here, at least not if he wants to stay a little bit conservative towards the end of the race. But I'd imagine the start-finish rate is where we're going to see a move here, if any. So maybe we'll go on board here with Trevor Anderson just to see what he's looking at in front of him. Again, so close. You can see up there up front. Oh, Paxa's gone off. At least momentarily, Paxa returns to the track, but David Paxa got a little bit too wide there in corner number 13. They both come around now. Trevor's going to have a big run. Go to the chopper camera. Both drivers coming into the pits this time. Not the not the move I would have expected to see from them. Running out of fuel, I would assume, but I thought both had pitted earlier into their stints. So, wow, I thought I had to get my eyesight checked there because I saw both guys taking the right-hand lane up the hill, and that is, of course, the pit lane. You would not expect them to take. Carl Dronka is actually... is he going to get a position from that? No, he's not. I just can't read. I read 9s as 5s. So Carl... he will. The 6 car is coming up. So Carl Dronka may jump up 2 more spots there in the number 38 car. He's going to go straight by. So Carl Dronka up to 4th. The chaos continues here. David Paxa and Trevor Anderson both exiting the pits. So still a top 5 spot up for grabs. But wow, they timed their fuel out so close that I really wish we could have seen what that battle would have looked like proper if they hadn't come in for more fuel and probably new tires. Gotta wonder if they just left the old tires on out of fear of maybe washing out there on colds. But well, I missed it entirely trying to cover this battle, but Logan Paxa, there he is in the background, took the white flag last time by, so just a couple more corners to go for the 16 car. 6.5 seconds clear of the 5 of Bedrosian behind him. Oh, he's got all the time he needs on his side. He's just got a little bit more work to do before he can officially declare himself the back-to-back race winner to start off the season. But well, let's keep an eye on this battle up front for the final top 5 spot. So his father, David Paxa, is still trying to hold the spot down there from Trevor Anderson. Woody Mahan, of course, also in this lap, but a little bit too far back to battle for position with them as well. So Bedrosian and Salvatore look to round out your top 3 if everything stays as is. But Anderson's got some time. He's got 1 more full lap as long as these 2 guys can stay ahead of Paxa. And that's all Anderson's trying to do right now is if he loses the lap to Paxa, he loses the 1 more lap, he can try to battle with his dad, David. So Well, the ideal goal for Trevor Anderson would be not even necessarily to pass David on this lap, but again, just to stay ahead of Logan. That way he gets the one more lap that he'll inevitably need, because he's lost quite a bit of ground in this middle sector. But the last sector in those last couple corners seem to be where he has the most effort and the most speed. And of course, David went wide that last time by, so there's always potential for something crazy to happen. Carl Dronka way up the road, as you can see there, coming through turn number 12. A couple more corners to go, and he'll get onto his final lap as well. But well, now that we've got some time before that Paxa-Anderson battle finishes up, your race leader and soon-to-be race winner, Logan Paxa. What a performance for him today. Took the pole. So much chaos around him after that caution flag, but great restarts all day. Going to come through the final corner, the very long start-finish straight here with the big hill up it. But well, Logan Paxa, what a performance he's had all race. He's doing the victory swerves. Logan Paxa, second time in a row to begin the season, wins at Road America to begin the Snowstorm Open Wheel Racing Series in style. Great performance for Logan Paxa. Just an absolutely stellar start to the season for him, and you really can't ask for two better races than that. Of course, didn't get the pole in the last round at Charlotte Roval, but since then he has just taken every point that has been available to him, and I believe Andrew will still have the fastest lap of the race. It's important that we go see Andrew as well, because though the race may not have turned out the exact way he would have liked, that incident with Salvatore kind of put the kibosh in his hopes in a win, but well, he came away with a second after the chaotic race he had. That's really all you can ask for. Tim Salvatore as well going to finish off the race series. He's coming through the final turn. Great race for Salvatore. Gets his first podium of the season. We'll get the pleasure of talking to him for the first time, and man, he's got to be happy with that. What a start to the season he's had. Came so close to a podium last week at Roval, and he'll finally get his due this week. So can't wait to talk to the 91 of Salvatore. There's Carl Dronka still in the middle of the lap. 38 car looks to basically have fourth sealed off unless these two gentlemen here, the 53 of Paxa, David Paxa, and the 25 of Anderson, if they can run a basically perfect last couple of sectors, this thing may not be over. But let's take the graphic down. We still got a race to settle here for that final top 5 spot between these two gentlemen. Anderson's going to lose a lot of ground through the carousel. He's going to have a great slipstream here if he wants to make the move on the final straightaway up to the finish line. Paxa's just got to run a couple more perfect sectors if he wants to win here, but that is easier said than done here at Road America. Let's take the track map down. I want to get this settled properly. So Anderson about half a second back. It's the farthest back he's been into 12. He's going to have a perfect turn 12 and 13 if he wants to make the time up. Jack Hillier off the track will stay out of the way, but went off again seemingly in corner number 12. But Pax is going to make it through 13. He's going to make it through 14 in just a moment. Anderson gets a little bit better of a run. He's going to have to make a perfect corner here if he wants to make the time up. Doesn't look like he will. Anderson just gets a little bit too wide there. David Paxa, unless Anderson gets the perfect slipstream, is going to finish with the final top 5 spot. What a race for both these gentlemen. Great debut for Anderson. Great second straight top 5 for Paxa. What a race we've seen here at Road America. Both gentlemen, congratulations to both the 53 and the 25. And I know I'll be talking to one of these two, or probably both of these two gentlemen in the near future, because man, just what great talent we have all throughout the series. But at some point in this race, like 8 guys held top 3 spots. It was just chaos in terms of parity. So it's great to see. It's exactly what you want, and congrats to both these guys for finishing off in style. And Woody Mahan as well, going to come to the end of the lap in just a moment. May have already finished because he was lapped by Logan Paxa prior, but great race by Mahan as well. You know, qualifying in 5th, great performance by qualifying standards with just how quick some of the guys in the series are. At qualifying, just pure pace, but man, he did the best with what he could and what came to him today, and he was running second for such a large portion of this race. So, well, he started off the season with a podium, and I'd say in a race of 14, 7th's not too bad for points either. So, great performance for Woody Mahan. But we got to go back to your race winner, Logan Paxa, as is kind of trademarked for him at this point. Always does some form of donuts or celebration, so I'd be remiss if I were to miss that. And let's go head back to Mr. Paxa. It was a while ago. Of course, the very long lap here at Road America. There we go. So let's throw up the little victory jingle again for Logan. That way he can get his proper... There we go. So race winner for the second week in a row, the 16 car of Logan Paxa. Just an absolutely stellar race for him. He really did everything he had to once again, and it kind of seems to be the case for him. If he gets on pole and doesn't really have much to worry about, then he doesn't tend to make too many mistakes, and he didn't tonight, though great, again, effort by Andrew Bedrosian. It'll be a pleasure to talk to him about the experience he had tonight after the race. But again, great job, Logan. Great performance by the 16 car, and gotta wonder, as we go off to Texas, I know he's never been more of an oval specialist, definitely more of a road course guy with the very technical tracks, but well, we're heading off to Texas in just a short little while, so really interesting to see what he intends to do there. And well, he's got the championship lead now. Now's the question of just how long can he keep it. So Well, with that being said, I think we have enough drivers who have finished off the race, and I think that might be everybody at this point that, well, we can now officially run you through your final results for tonight's race. Let's throw up your, yep, there it is. So the results board is up. Oh, we have, sorry, just a little bit too far there. We gotta, there we are. So, well, your top 14 in order, 14 drivers in tonight's race. Great turnout. 2 more guys than we had at Roval the other week on Friday. And hopefully that number will expand even more as Justin Lulick, Max Preston, and Renee Hart hopefully join the series in the near future. But your race winner tonight by just about 6.5 seconds, Logan Pax on the 16 car. He's done it many times in series I've put together, and he's done it once again. Got the pole, got the win, and I think he got 2 bonus points tonight for both leading lap and leading the most laps. So he will take home quite a fair share of points. Will no doubt remain your points leader. But again, you can't discount the effort of Andrew Bedrosian tonight. I mean, going all the way back to 10th on that yellow flag, had a lot of work to do, and he did it. He made up 8 spots all the way up to 2nd, and it doesn't get that much better of a recovery drive than that. Of course, he'll disagree and probably say he would have liked the win, but well, if I were him, I wouldn't complain with that performance at all. Great work by the 5 car tonight. And Tim Salvatore getting his first podium in series history. Great work for him tonight. He was another one of those guys that seemed to have a little bit of trouble there at the beginning with him and Bedrosian getting tangled up, and he actually came from 11th as well. So I shouldn't discount the comeback drive he had either. But the crazy thing is that 2 of our podium guys making up 8 spots there from lap number, I think, 7 or 8. So great races for both those gentlemen, but he'll get his first podium of the season, and he will be the first driver we interview in just a moment, provided he is available in the booth. But after that, Carl Dronka, who had a crazy race, felt like he was in every position at some point in the race, but, well, after all is said and done, he will come away with a 4th spot, which, for his 2nd race of the season, after dropping out of the first one at the very beginning, meaning he got last place points, it's a good recovery in the points for him, and we'll see what his standings look like next week going forward. David Pax will round up the top 5, 2nd straight top 5 for him, just ahead of Trevor Anderson, as you saw there at the finish. Trevor making his debut tonight. Great start to the season for him. He's a great driver. I've raced against him a lot in the past in a separate series, but man, he's got some talent, and he showed it tonight. Running great in qualifying. For a time, was the 2nd place driver on the in the qualifying grid there. He's going to be quick, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does at maybe a little bit more of a conventional road course with maybe some more passing opportunities, because I think he can really make some noise in this series. But Woody Mahan, speaking of guys that can make noise, finished on the last spot on the podium last week and come away with 7th place spots, or he will come away with the 7th place spot. That's a bit of a tongue twister for you. But yeah, another great performance for him. He went a lap down, which doesn't really tell the full story, as he was sitting 2nd for a large majority of the race, and maybe if Bedrosian hadn't made the comeback as quick as he had, he may have finished in the top 5, maybe even the top 3. So it was a great race for him, and whether the 7th is what he wanted or not, well, you can't complain with that performance if you ask me. Rich Foligno there in 8th, who had kind of a quiet race tonight. I would say, generally speaking, not too much going on for the number 99 Genesis car, but well, he did what he had to. He held a podium spot for a lot of the race, and by the end, to finish only 1 lap behind the guys up front that just seemed to be locked in tonight at a track as tough as this is so much more of an achievement than I could possibly emphasize. So great race for Rich Foligno. Marshall Crocker Sr., who just wrong place, wrong time. He easily could have finished with even a top 3 spot tonight. I mean, until that incident where Caleb Campbell went around in the corkscrew in front of him and just collected him, know where he could go. It was looking like it could be a 3rd or a 4th tonight. And I'm waiting for the day I can finally get an interview with my dad post race, because he gets so close in these races and he puts a lot of time into it, and he can run so consistently. But you never know. Racing's one of those sports where there's always bad luck around every corner. It would seem, and well, it's a shame there. So great performance by him nonetheless. He'll come away with the 9th, and I think that'll still put his points situation in a pretty good spot going forward. Then Manuel Guerra and John Guerra back-to-back there in 10th and 11th. Of course, John making his debut tonight after his birthday the other night. So thank you, John, for making the debut tonight. It was an impressive performance for sure, and again, on such little notice that not having the extended period of time there at Roval to warm up, it was great to see in his first debut race tonight, staying relatively within the period of time there tonight, only 2 laps down again. Very impressive when you consider just how dialed in and quick the guys up front were. But they will finish 10th and 11th tonight. Caleb Campbell will go about 6 laps down and finish in 12th. And again, another guy that had a pretty good race, it would seem. There on the yellow flag restart, it looked like he was going to make some noise, but it was a chaotic track. It's a tough one to get used to. And I think, again, one of those guys going through the season, I have big hopes for Caleb, and I think he'll definitely pull together and get some spots whenever possible. But for the time being, we're just going to have to settle with 12th tonight. And I know that if I were him, with how tough tonight was, I wouldn't complain with that at all. And then Jack Hillier in 13th and Tanner Dignard in 14th will round out the grid. course, Jack Hillier was a great sportsman-like guy to stay out of the way of the guys that were ahead of him. I know Jack is again new to the whole league racing side of things, but he's making it work and he's been really quick all throughout the season. So great job for him to come away with the 13th tonight. And well, Tanner Dignard will round out the field, of course, leaving really early in the event before he ran out of quick repairs. So Tanner was third as well at the very beginning of that yellow flag restart. The race was kind of in his hands, but so much chaos, so much stuff happened around him, and to come away with a 14th really doesn't tell again the full story. So great job for Tanner tonight. He had so many great moments throughout the race, and he's another guy really excited to see what he does going forward. But that'll round out the grid for tonight's race, and it means that it's now time to get to the post-race interviews. This race ran a little bit long. It was a bit of a long race, so let's try to wrap things up hopefully before 10 o'clock. But that means we do need to go to your first interview tonight, that being Mr. Tim Salvatore. So we will get him in the booth in just a moment, and we will conduct your first interview. Hey, Tim, it's Marshall in the booth. You got me?
I've got you, Marshall.
Awesome. Well, first of all, congratulations. First podium in the series. And you came so close last Friday at Roval. It was a great performance you put down over there. And with that one spin in corner 4, that kind of put the end of your race there. But you came back with a fire under you, and you were really quick in the test race. Everything was looking good for you. And after an insane race where, I know you and Andrew got collected there at the very beginning, what was the mindset coming back from that? Did you think starting 11th on that yellow flag restart, you could come all the way back and take a podium spot like you did tonight?
Just honestly, just needed a little bit of help, and I did get it with other people going off. I don't think under any regular circumstances I would have actually come back to get third. Just come from practice and qualifying times, I knew I had the pace, but from that far back in the field, the pace differential is just, no matter how much quicker you are, it doesn't matter. So, unfortunately for a couple guys, they spun off, but I was able to take advantage.
Yeah, for sure. And making your debut at Road America and the Indy Pro Cars tonight, I would imagine it's not a crazy common iRacing combination, but what was it like going to a track that in a lot of ways is very different than Roval? How would you kind of compare your experience with the two? Do you seem to have one kind of style of road course, whether it be the Roval or the more dedicated, longer drawn out road course that you're particularly quick with?
Personally, I don't know what I'm quicker at, but I definitely prefer, and my comfort level is much higher at traditional road courses. And honestly, it's from being more of an F1 fan. So like the traditional road courses is something more that I watch compared to like the sports car rovals. But that's not to say I don't enjoy it. It's just something that I definitely have more comfort level in a traditional road track.
Well, going forward tonight, after taking away great points with your third place and after fourth last week, you're looking good in the point standings. I think you actually will jump up to third with Woody finishing as far back as he did. So the world's your oyster really at this point in the season. Only 2 races down out of 15, but we come to Texas in a couple weeks, first oval of the season, and then I genuinely forget what the week after that is, but I think it's something relatively. It's Monza. So a lot of different tracks rattling off at the beginning of the season. What's your level of confidence going forward? Does this kind of position tonight, getting your first podium, does that kind of provide a confidence boost for the future for you?
Absolutely. However, that being said, I do believe that the two guys at the top there, Logan and Andrew, they're kind of in a different stratosphere right now. So third's kind of like a first place for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I agree with you. I think they'll be the kind of the Mercedes teammates to make an F1 analogy to watch this season. They've definitely got the pace, but you proved tonight that if you can have a race where, of course, you don't get an incident there at the beginning with Andrew, and I absolutely won't put that on you. But if you just have the situation where you can be a little bit further up late in the race, I think you're going to be one of the guys to look out for, and we may have Verstappen in the making. So it's been a pleasure to watch you at the start of this series. I'd imagine this will absolutely not be the last time I talk to you all year, but as we do at the end of all of our interviews, this is kind of the time where you have some free time to yourself. If you want to wish happy holidays to anybody at home, if you want to talk about anything you'd like, and just, this is your time at the end of every interview.
All right, thank you. No, just happy holidays and Merry Christmas to everyone. Appreciate it, and we'll see you after the Christmas break. Thanks again.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Have a good rest of your holidays, Tim, and looking forward to seeing you on January the 8th. And with that, we'll round off the first interview of the night, the first one ever with Tim Salvatore. And it was a pleasure to finally get the chance to to talk to him, because I know after all of our test races together, where he was just running so quickly and had so much potential to do well tonight, to see that, well, after 2 consecutive races where he ran great, that he could finally get that podium in round two that I was imagining he might get in round one. It's great to see, and it's very promising for the future. I know he's going to have a good rest of the series, and just can't wait to see what he does going forward. But now we got to go to the guy that probably had the most eventful race of anybody, finishing in the second place tonight. He was your second place finisher in round one. He's kind of become consistent for that at this point. But Mr. Andrew Bedrosian, let's bring him in the booth. Hey, Andrew, it's Marshall in the booth. You got me?
Hey.
Well, first of all, I mean, I know it wasn't probably the first you were hoping for there with how quick you were in practice and overall. I mean, you were so quick in qualifying as well. But man, that was like the Sergio Perez F1 drive from a couple weeks back, coming from 10th on the yellow flag there to start the race, all the way back up to second. Just what do you think it is about your comfort with this track that allowed you to make up that many spots, and kind of what was your experience going from the back all the way to the front like?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just I feel very comfortable playing more offense than defensive driving. I love putting pressure on people, and uh, I love being that person that when somebody slips up or the person I'm chasing slips up, that's when I'm there to pounce. But yeah, I mean, it's I definitely felt a lot more comfortable than anybody getting on the gas a little bit before the apex of most of these turns. And yeah, I mean, the roval, it's I mean, where we have like turns every 2 seconds with these, I mean, they're like 10, 20 seconds straight. But yeah, so it's not the easiest track, but yeah, it's just something I do feel comfortable more doing these type of tracks than roval.
And it certainly looked like you had going in a certain level of pace that maybe nobody could consistently get there. Last week at Roval, you make a good point. But now that you have 2 races under your belt in the Indy Pro cars, I know it's not a card that a lot of people traditionally run in their own iRacing pass before this series. But how are you feeling about the car 2 races in? Are you starting to get a handle on it? Is there stuff you're starting to pick up on before? Like, do you have confidence with this car, like you seem to have had in the NASCAR and the IR18 in the past?
Um, I mean, I do feel like the practice and qualifying times do show that I've adjusted a lot better than anybody to this car. Just because I mean, the Skip Barbers do drive very similar to these, but these just have put out the engines, and the PM18 put out a lot more power. So it's I mean, very similar to just, I mean, the sliding of like a rally car or something. Like, I mean, you saw in the sand trap in turn one on lap one in the rally skills. So, yeah, I mean, uh, it's a type of car that I can relate to with some of the cars I've driven in the past and in simulators. So, yeah, so it isn't an easy car to drive, but I mean, I've practiced quite a long time with the AIs, so I mean, I basically know what is going to happen if I do pretty much anything or do a certain move.
Right, and that was seemed to be on display tonight. It did look a lot like watching an AI race with somebody that's just a step above, at least in that couple laps after that yellow flag stop. You seem to be in third before I could even report on it there. So, well, you made tonight fun for sure. It was a pleasure to watch. But well, now you got your Christmas break, and hopefully you have happy holidays over there in the States. But in a couple of weeks, we come back for round 3 at Texas, first oval of the season. I know you got your kind of your maiden win there in the Kartsting Computers series in season 2 there at an oval, and the first time I think we've done one in an open wheel car in quite a while. Certainly the first in the Indy Pros. So, what are you expecting going to Texas? Have you done any laps there? Trying to prepare. Do you think you'll adapt well to the oval strategy side of things?
I mean, I have started running some oval races with the AIs and stuff, and it is a lot more difficult with these the PM18 than the IR18 on these things. Like especially like I mean, just with the dirty air, you can't. You have to be like 6 to 10 car lengths back for the dirty air not even to hit you. So, and that's what made tonight so difficult for some of these other guys. Just the dirty air, you could see it affecting and just making people go off track. But at Texas, I feel like this is more of a forgiving oval, especially the version we're racing on. I think it's the 2009 before it got paved. So it definitely is a wide track, but if I were any of these other guys, I definitely would watch out for probably turn 4, because if you wash out turn 4, that wall will be coming for you. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, you're always the best guy to go to about hearing about tracks in advance. You're kind of the guy that seems to scout them out in advance, and it's paying off for you so far. You know, you're going to be second in the points, not too far behind Logan whatsoever. So great start to the year. You got plenty of races ahead of you, and this is the part of all of your interviews. You know how it works. Sponsors, happy holidays. Just whatever you want to wish the people at home.
Yeah, I do want to thank Bedford School for sponsoring me. Stamos Realtors, JP West Photo. I gotta thank for everybody for coming out. It was a fun race, especially just with everybody moving around. So yeah, I mean, hope we put on a good show.
Well, I have the feeling we did. If it's anything like what I got to watch, it was a pleasure to have you. And again, like I said earlier, just happy holidays. Have a good couple weeks off, and I look forward to seeing what a recharged and refreshed Andrew after that break will look like on January the 8th.
All right, thank you, Marshall.
And with that, that'll finish off your second interview of the night. Andrew Bedrosian, always a well-spoken guy. Always the guy, like I said, that I like to go to about future tracks because, he's very in the know when it comes to his iRacing venues, and it's something that I think has worked out for him so far, and it's the reason that, as Tim kind of alluded to, they both him and Logan Paxley, who we're about to talk to in a moment, seem to kind of be the class of the field so far. But it's a long season; anything can happen. But now let's head to Logan Paxley. We'll pull him in the booth and get your final interview of the race. Hey, Logan, it's Marshall in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Awesome. Well, first of all, congratulations, starting the season off with 2 wins in a row. There's not much better of a way to do it than that. And I mean, tonight it felt like as chaos swirled around behind you, everything that could go wrong went wrong for most people. Well, you took the pole in a very competitive qualifier, and then you just kind of sailed off into the sun. But to break down qualifying, I mean, this is the first season we've done the live qualifying in this format. How has it kind of changed? What is your mindset towards an open qualifier versus a lone qualifier, and how much has it affected the way you approach it so far this season?
My main mindset is always track position in these types of qualifyings. You don't want to be too close to the guy in front of you to the point where you get all that dirty air from the rear wing of the guy ahead, but you also don't want to be too far away that you don't get that guy's draft. So there's a sweet spot in there that you always try to get into. But of course, the guy in front of you can always back up and he can slow down so that you're now not in that sweet spot. And for the first 3 laps of qualifying, me and Andrew, I was trying to get the toe off him, and he didn't want that. So he would slow down in certain places, but then I would slow down and let him back. I knew that he was faster than me, so I just need to play games with him, and maybe, just maybe, I could get a good lap in, and maybe I could get pole.
Well, and you did manage to do it, and as I kind of expected, with a race as difficult as it was going to be tonight to pass. I mean, we talked about before the dirty air, how tough that can be in certain sections. But once you got up front, you just seemed to have a pace that nobody could really replicate. And that yellow flag restart, you got a great jump both times. Is there kind of a confidence going into the season after 2 performances like this? Like from the last series when there were so many changing cars, so many changing track types, do you feel a little bit more comfort this season knowing that, well, the Road America is probably one of the toughest tracks we'll face, and you seem to face it great tonight? Like, what's the confidence level after round 2, winning the first 2?
My confidence level is the exact same as when I came into this series. You always want to be confident in your ability, but you never want to be overconfident in your ability, because then you believe that in order to do well, you don't need to do your absolute best. That's why I never go into a mindset thinking, well, maybe I'll just be able to drive away. I never think about that. I always think to myself, you're going to have to fight for this. You're going to have to try hard. I never let myself think that it's going to be easy. So it stayed the same.
Well, it's a very mature way to look at it. Yeah, I agree with your point there. I mean, Andrew doesn't seem to be waxing off himself. I mean, after having 2 great races in his own right, and as you talked about, kind of seeming like the guy coming in that was going to be quickest tonight at Road America. But well, you two, I think, are going to have a very competitive battle all season, and if you keep that attitude up, then I'd imagine that that it'll be a good season for you, just as well as it'll be for him. But finally, as we head through the Christmas break, and first of all, happy holidays to you in advance. But before we head into round number 3 at January the 8th at Texas, the legacy version, we head back to the ovals. And I know in the old series when we were back in the NASCARs, the ovals were never really your specialty. That was more so the Michael Krobachs and Andrews of the world. But heading there in an open wheel car, how are you feeling? Have you put in any laps in the Indy Pro and an oval yet? And what kind of racing are you expecting there?
When it comes to Texas, I've done a couple laps there. It's mostly flat out. The dirty air might make that a lift through corners. It definitely won't be my strong suit, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna give up and say, oh well, this isn't my strong suit, I'm probably not gonna do well. No, I'm gonna try. Always. But yeah, I'm not very sure of myself coming into this, but I'm gonna try my best and we'll see what happens.
Well, you've got a couple weeks to do so. You got the break off, so you got some time to practice. But of course, I obviously spend time with your family, who I have to, of course, personally thank for always being great supporters. And of course, your dad making his debut tonight. Two back-to-back top 5s for him. It's a great start to the season that he's had. But yeah, just to round off, you know how these interviews work. You're very familiar with this setting. So if you have anybody you want to thank at home, anybody you want to shout out, this is your time in the interview.
I want to thank Canadian Mini Indy and all the staff that work there. And Special Interest Automobiles, the best auto repair shop in the Cambridge Tri-City area. And I want to thank you, Marshall.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Of course, as always, I got to thank you because one of the guys that makes this series the most interesting. You provide a benchmark for everybody, and yeah, you've had a great season so far. And I always look forward to seeing what you'll do every week as we head somewhere different. So, happy holidays, Logan. Thank you as always for doing what you do, and can't wait to see you in a couple weeks on January the 8th.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Marshall. I'll see you later.
See ya. And with that, we'll round off your last interview of the night with your race winner for the second week in a row, Mr. Logan Paxa. I wouldn't necessarily call this the most dominant performance we've seen, but it was darn close. It never really looked in question once Andrew kind of evened out his pace with Logan that was going to be the finishing spot we saw. So let's just throw up your final race results one more time, and we can log off because it's a little bit late and never want people to stay up too late. But there are your final results once again. I'll have the points updated for all the drivers later tonight, but I'll have them updated for you guys at home by the end of, well, actually the start of the next broadcast, which will be a little bit of a while. Remember that we are taking a break to the next race for the Christmas break. That way everybody can spend their Christmas that would normally be this Friday. And of course, happy holidays to everybody out there, whatever you may celebrate. But the Friday after that is New Year's Day. So we kind of got a tough luck with when the Friday dates for this series fell. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back January the 8th, all refreshed. Hopefully everybody that wasn't able to make it out tonight, the final 3 or 4 drivers left in the driver lineup, hopefully they're able to make it out. And man, an 18 driver race at Texas. So what a great way to start 2021 that would be. So let's hope. But there are your final results one more time for the night. Again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this series. As always, it's been a pleasure to host, and tonight was one of the most fun broadcasts I've had in a while. It was a great night of racing, and I can't wait to see what more we can get up to in the future. And I mean, Andrew's close to a win. Tim getting his first podium tonight. Great performance for him. Trevor making his debut there. What a drive from him as well. So there's so many talented guys in this field. Any spots up for grabs, and I can't wait going forward. So thank you everybody for watching. As always, have a great rest of your week. Have a great Friday because it is of course Christmas coming up, and have a great happy holidays and spend time with family. And that's about all I got. So thank you everybody for watching. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you all on January the 8th. Bye for now.